Dorcas. Let me see. Absolutely phenomenal. I'll be your pilot today and I'll drive the session where we'll talk about how you can move from a non-tech background to getting a job within the tech ecosystem. And our session today will be very interactive, all right? So I want all of you to make the session interactive, ask questions as much as you can as we move along. And if you have any friend, your brother, your sister, your colleague that you think can benefit from today's session, send the link to them and allow them to also be a part of the amazing session we'll be having today. I'd like to know where you're joining us from as well before we get started. So type into the chat your location. I'm joining you from Alberta in Canada. So type your location. Let's know where you are joining us from. Nana is joining from the UK. Let's see where others are joining from. Ruth from Nigeria, Isabel, South Africa. Fantastic. Musibao from the UK, France, UK, Nigeria, Abuja, Accra, Ghana. Julius is also in Alberta. Absolutely phenomenal. Juma is joining us from Kenya. So let's keep it coming. Okay, we are expecting a lot more people to join us before we dive into the main meat of our session today. Dorcas is joining us from the UK. Titi from Scotland. Now, before we get started, what are we here today to do? We are here to talk about how to transition from a non-tech background into the tech ecosystem. And just like so many of you, I have been there before. And I'll give you my own story and I'll walk you through how I was able to do it. How did I move from a management consulting role into data analytics, data science, and so on and so forth. So let's dive into the main meat of our session for today. And I'll do that by driving the session with my slides, which I'll be sharing right now. But before we get started, who are we at Tenalytics and what are we all about? For us at Tenalytics, we're an educational technology company, and the focus for us is helping the African community, the Black community, to transition into the tech ecosystem by providing you with premium training programs across different areas, from data analytics to data science, to data engineering, financial analytics, and so on and so forth. Over the last 4 years, we've been able to help over 2,000 people to transition from the classroom to getting their first jobs in tech across different regions, from the US to Canada to the UK, across Africa, and across different career paths, from data analytics to HR analytics to cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. And for me, driving you today, I'll be the pilot of our session. My name is Adeza Suleiman. I have close to a decade experience in data analytics and management consulting. And over the last 10 years, my focus has been on helping both corporates and individuals to understanding how to utilize data, extracting insights to take data-driven decisions. Over the last 4 years, my focus shifted from corporates to the individuals, people that look like me, Africans in the diaspora, Africans in Africa, who also want to get into the tech ecosystem. So my focus has been on helping them to make that transition, just like I did when I was making that switch about a decade ago. And over the last 4 years, like I mentioned, we've been able to help 2,000 people, over 2,000 people without any tech background, without any prior education in the tech ecosystem, to transition and land their very first jobs. My first degree was in industrial chemistry. So if you're on this call and your first degree is in psychology, physiology, medicine, you are in the right place. Okay, I didn't start out as a data analyst. I didn't learn anything related to tech, but I made that transition. And my very first professional experience was as a management consultant. I've worked as a data science consultant in the UK and in the US, working on different projects and contracts for some of the biggest and the best organizations across the globe. I've worked as a data analyst with one of the largest energy conglomerates in sub-Saharan Africa, Sahara Power Group. And I've also worked as a data analytics consultant with FITC, a major player within the financial services sector owned by the Central Bank of Nigeria and the NDIC. My experience spans across 5 different sectors, from energy to automobile, to educational technology, to sports and financial services. I currently reside in Alberta, Canada, and I'll be driving the session today. And our session would cut across 4 different areas. First of all, which is the main reason why we are here, to know how to transition. And I'll tell you for a fact, so many people find it very difficult. Okay, they hear the buzzword, oh, business analyst, business analysis, data engineering, cybersecurity. But how do I get a job in that area? How do I transition? I don't have any experience. I've always worked in the bank. Okay, and that's what we're going to discuss today. How do you make that switch with no prior experience? And then we'll move into the pathway to getting a job within that specified area. So you've decided that you want to get a job as a data analyst. What are the specifics? What are the tools, the techniques, the skills you need to learn to get a job as a data analyst, as a business analyst? And I'll walk you through that. And I'll tell you that I've interacted with so many people, and one of the major reasons why they can't transition, even though they've tried, they apply to jobs. Oh, Adeza, I've been applying to jobs for the last 1 year. I can't even get an interview. Part of the reason is because they have learned the wrong way. Okay, and I'll be exposing you to some of those areas and how you need to learn to make that switch, depending on the career path you decided to take. And of course, I'll also introduce you to the internship, the Tenalytics internship program, which is where you gain all the experience. Learning the skill is not enough. You need to gain experience. And I'm going to expose you to that as well as we move on during our session today. And of course, I have an amazing, fantastic offer for you. For those that stay till the end, I have 2 amazing offers for the next cohort we have starting in August. All right? So sit back, relax, enjoy the session. For us to be very, to take time into consideration and to manage time effectively, make a note of all the questions you have, and I'll take questions at the end of our session today. Now, a lot of people would also ask me and say, hey, Adeza, I've tried to transition, I've done this, I've done that, nothing seems to be working. I don't think there are even jobs in the tech ecosystem. How can I get a job? Are there jobs? Have people gotten jobs in the space? And I'm going to tell you that it always seems impossible until it is done, until somebody does it and we see that this person was like me a few months ago, and this person has learned the skills, gained the experience, and now has gotten a job. So I'll share with you some success stories to keep the session exciting before we get into the main meat. I want to share some experiences with you, some people who have done the same things you're trying to do. They came into a free session like you. They've worked as care workers, as social workers. They've worked in the banks. They have done nothing related to tech, but they learned the skill. They got the experience. They worked on projects, and today they've been able to transition. And the very first person I'm going to share with you today is Abigail. Abigail lived in Saskatchewan in Canada. She worked as a care worker in Canada. Okay, and most of you would know what the care workers do. A lot of people get those type of jobs because they feel like, or they believe there are no opportunities. And it's one of the easiest ways to get into the job markets in Canada, in the UK, and so on and so forth. Okay, support workers, care workers, warehouse operatives. And Abigail was a care worker, but she decided that, look, I don't want to go on doing this for the rest of my career. I want to get a job where I can see some level of progression. I can get to work from home. I can work remotely, and so on and so forth. And she decided to join our business analysis program. Within the space of 4 months, Abigail learned all the skills she needed to learn, and she was able to transition from being a care worker to a business analyst. And today, Abigail works with the government of Alberta as a business analyst and currently supervises 2 other business analysts. And this is somebody with no experience. She's never done this before, but she was able to learn the skill, gain the experience. And today, she's a business analyst with the government of Alberta. We're going to listen to Abigail. All right, we'll listen to Abigail in a 2+ minutes video and hear how Abigail was able to make that switch and how she was able to learn with us at Tenalytics, getting into the interview stage, how we prepared her for our interviews, and how she was able to secure the job. You have somebody like Toyin, who was, had a medical background. She studied pharmacy. She was a pharmacist. She moved to the UK for her master's, but she realized that I want to do a little bit more. All right, I want to get a job in the tech ecosystem. Toyin joined our data analytics program, got all the skills, all the experience, applied, and got a job with the NHS in the UK, which came with full visa sponsorship. So she got a COS a certificate of sponsorship from the NHS, and today she works as a benefits analyst with the NHS in the UK. And you'd also get to listen to Toyin as well and hear her experience. You have Stephen. Stephen was a customer service operative, customer service, which is one of the fastest jobs you'll get when you move to the UK. Stephen lived in Scotland, got a job as a customer service representative, but wanted to do a little bit more, just the same reason why you are here today. And today, Stephen works as a data analyst with an organization in Glasgow, Scotland. So if you look at the career path, you'd realize these are people that have no experience. They've not done anything related to tech. They've not done anything related to business analysis, data analytics, from a care worker to a business analyst, from a pharmacist to a benefit analyst, which is a form of data analytics, from a customer representative to a data analyst as well. You have Nathaniel. Nathaniel joined our data science program, and today Nathaniel works with one of the largest private research pharmaceutical firms in Barcelona, Spain. And Abdul Rashid, who resides in Nigeria and works for a company in the US called Chow 420 as a data scientist. Abdul Rashid always used to work in education. He was in the education sector. He joined our data science program, and today he's a data scientist, earning in dollars, spending in Naira, and he's working for a company in the US. Now, before I move on, we're going to listen to Abigail very quickly. It's a 2+ minutes video, and then we move into the next part of our session today, which is, what do I need? Which career path do I need to go into? So if I decide today that I want to transition from my current role, perhaps some of you are care workers, some of you work in the banks, some of you plan to move from your current location, want to migrate to Canada, to the UK, and so on. How do you compete for the best jobs available? And how do you learn those skills? So we'll go into that after listening to Abigail. So I'm going to click on this link, and it takes us to Abigail. We're going to listen to Abigail for about 2 minutes, and then we come back to continue with the rest of the session, okay? So I'm just going to click on this link, which you'd all have access to this. Okay, you'd all have access to this. At the end of the session, I've kept the links on my slide. You'd have access to the links on my slide, okay? So Abigail's video is about 2 minutes, 52 seconds, but I want us to hear Abigail, and let's get to see how she was able to make that transition, okay? So I'm just going to be sure that my audio is up and running, and then I'll go ahead and share this with you. So let's listen to Abigail. All right, so sit back, relax, and enjoy Abigail's story.
Gaga, and I want to talk about my journey with Tenalytics and how it has helped me to ace my interview and eventually land that dream job that we always wanted. So my training with Tenalytics has transformed my career as a business analyst. They have coached me really well, thoroughly, with hands-on projects, and the instructors are usually super awesome. Topics that are covered are usually real-life experience with a hands-on project where you do as a team, where you do as individual. There's always a one-on-one session if you want. Interview preparation, they use real-life experience. They coach you on interview, and they tell you what you are doing right and what you are doing wrong, and where you need to improve and where you are perfect, and all of that. I'm recommending Tenalytics to all my friends. To anyone watching this video, please don't think about it twice when you just try and attend one of these sessions. It will open your mind, it will give you more ideas on what it is all about. Don't be scared. It was working with Tenalytics that gave me the confidence to apply for some job roles that I naturally wouldn't apply, because I feel those job roles are usually too big for me. Like, you know, the name sounds so big, and Tenalytics makes me understand that you can do it as a business analyst. We all got the idea. So I am 100% recommending Tenalytics to anyone that has thought about being a business analyst, a data analyst, or all the analysts that they coach you on. You won't have regret in it. You will come to thank me later. I am happy I joined Tenalytics. They help you develop your user stories on how to use scenario, on how to use real life experience to answer your interview questions, which is usually what helps you to ace your interview. I am so happy I joined Tenalytics, and I wouldn't have been where I am today without the coaching and help of Tenalytics. I personally would want to thank the coordinator. He's very good at doing his job. His name is Ubong. Please disturb Ubong on everything you need. Like, he's always there 100%. Any time of the day you call him, he picks. It doesn't matter, he's sleeping 2 a.m., 1 a.m. I am really recommending Tenalytics. So guys, join Tenalytics and you won't regret it. And Tenalytics, I personally want to thank you for training me, for building my confidence, and for helping me to understand that there's a BA in every one of us. Thank you guys. Bye.
Right, so that's Abigail, fantastic lady. Like I mentioned earlier, Abigail, just like so many people who didn't know what to do. She was a care worker in Canada, wanted to become a business analyst, and she joined us. She learned all the skills, and a month after she completed the program, she got an interview opportunity. She reached out to us, so I have an interview. We prepared her for the interview using real life experience. So how do you gain the real life experience? And today, she's a business analyst for the government of Alberta. For anybody who wants to interact with Abigail one-on-one, Abigail is going to be in one of our sessions tomorrow, Sunday. So make a note. That would be 5 p.m. West African time, 5 p.m. in the UK. We'll have a session where Abigail will be coming to speak. So you would have the opportunity to listen to her, ask her questions, and so on and so forth. And there's so many other success stories. You have Oluwadamilare, and I'm going to use Oluwadamilare as well as a case study. So you see this sustainability data analyst. Oluwadamilare got a job as a sustainability data analyst. But why sustainability? What does that mean? How did that form the strategy to which Oluwadamilare secured this job? And I'll share the whole story with you so you have a very good picture of how you can properly structure the process to you landing the next job. So when you see job titles like this, there is work and proper guided strategy that went into it. And just like all the other people have shared, Oluwadamilare came to us, joined our data analytics program, and he got a job as a sustainability data analyst with an organization in the UK. And this is him sending me an email. I'm super excited to tell you that I've gotten, the entire Tenalytics employability team. I've successfully landed a role as a sustainability data analyst. I want to thank you for the support through this phase. God bless you real good. Okay. And of course, I've also kept some links to some of the previous sessions we've had. And you can all go there, listen to somebody like Karima, who got a job from Nigeria working for a company in the UK. Listen to, she got a job as a business analyst working for a company in the UK. Listen to Muhyiddin, who got a job from Nigeria working for a company in the UK as well. And this is Oluwadamilare. He also came to speak to share his knowledge and experience. And you'd see all these professionals. Sila, please. Okay, thanks for that. Now you'd see all these different, people who joined the program, they completed and they got jobs. But how did they start? What did they need to do? And that's what I'll be sharing with you next. Now, it's very important for you to understand that the tech ecosystem is very broad. And choosing the right career path is the number one factor to a successful career. I want you to write that down because you're going to write so many things down that would help you when trying to make that transition. Number one is what? Choosing the right career path is the number one factor to a successful career. And a lot of people jump into career path that in the next 5 years will become irrelevant because there is a buzzword around it today. Okay, so how do you select the right career path? What informs that decision? How do you filter the career path that are not relevant and target the ones that will get you the jobs that are in demand and organizations are currently recruiting for? Now, one of the things we do every year, at the end of the year, we scrape data from all the different job boards, from Glassdoor to Reed.co.uk to Indeed to ZipRecruiter, Total Jobs. We scrape data from there, and we see the job roles that has the highest frequency from the HR recruiters. And from there, we can start to see where the demand is. Which job roles are organizations recruiting for? So we see that analysis, and that forms the basis to the type of programs we offer. Now, we also use an external report to validate, which I'll share with you. And the report is available online to anybody who wants to download these reports. And I'll tell you, if you want to transition and you haven't read these reports, then you're making a very big mistake. And I'll tell you one of the mistakes people make when transitioning. I was speaking with somebody about 2-3 weeks ago, and they want to move into a product management role. Product management. Now, what is this report all about? Let me summarize for you. This is the World Economic Forum Future of Jobs report, meaning that where the jobs would be from now and in the next 5 to 10 years, which jobs would grow and which jobs would decline. So at the left-hand side, you have the jobs that would grow in demand. And at the right-hand side, you have the jobs that will decline in demand. Now, let me ask you before I even go ahead to tell you why product management, based on this report, is something you shouldn't consider if you want to be relevant in the next 5 to 10 years. Which career path would you transition into? The career path that would grow or the career path that will decline? If you want to make a decision today. So type into the charts. Career path that would grow, so just type grow if you think you want to transition into a career path that would grow, or type decline if you want to transition into a career path that will decline. So just type into the charts. Now let's see. Okay, Ikechi says grow, Deborah says grow, Doka says grow. Obviously, everybody will choose grow. It's a no-brainer. All right, you want to transition today and you want to remain relevant. You're going to choose a career path that will grow in demand. In the next 5 years, my career is still in demand, so I'm still relevant. I can, get into other organizations, get better opportunities, still with similar skill sets and a little bit of upskilling. Now, looking at the jobs that will decline in demand, product management falls under one of the career paths that will decline. And a lot of people are getting into product management today. And the reason is simple. So your market research and so many of the things you do, identifying the product market fit and so on and so forth, can be done by AI today. So AI is replacing a lot of the jobs within the product management ecosystem. So you need to do a little bit more. You need to add the skills that will grow in demand, from the career path that will grow in demand. So let's have a look at some of the career paths that will grow in demand. And number one is AI and machine learning. And this is a no-brainer. For anybody transitioning today, you'd see the trend. All the jobs today are in the machine learning, area, the artificial intelligence, generative AI, the large language models, and so many, ecosystems within that space. And AI machine learning simply is a part of what? Data science. All right. So as a data scientist, you can get a job as a machine learning engineer, as a machine learning specialist. Let me call it DS, data science. So you start to see where the jobs would be, and everybody can see that today. Your WhatsApp now has Meta AI. Your Instagram has Meta AI. Everything has some form of generative AI. And even Tenalytics today, two weeks ago, we launched our own AI platform. And I'll be sharing that with you, how you also get to learn and get the very best from the AI chatbots we launched that will help you prepare for interviews, help you learn, and forms a part of your what? Personal assistant. So if you joined us last month for any of our master classes, you'll be getting to see something new because we are always evolving based on the market demand. So I'll share that with you, the AI chatbots. We're going to interact with it together, and you'll see how you would also benefit from that as a part of the Tenalytics community. Another career path is what? Business intelligence analyst. So if you're a business intelligence analyst today, you will struggle to get a job because your role is in demand, and your role would even grow in demand in the next 5 to 10 years. And who are business intelligence analysts? They are business intelligence, BI, is a subset of what? Data analytics. And I'll show you, exactly how this applies. And it's very important for you to understand this because a lot of people make the mistake and assume that I have only learned data analytics, I can only get a job as a data analyst. But there are so many career paths that falls under data analytics, and business intelligence is one of them. So as a data analyst, you can get a job as a business intelligence analyst. Okay, you have information security. When you hear information security, what comes to your mind? Information security analyst. Which career path comes to mind? Type it into the chat. Information security analyst. Which career path comes to mind when you hear the word information security analyst? Just type into the chat and let's see if we're on the same frequency today. Cybersecurity, fantastic. Faith Ademola, absolutely fantastic. So cybersecurity is a subset of information security. Information security is the broader ecosystem of everything security. And then you have cybersecurity as a subset. So you have cybersecurity. So my question is, why leave the career path that are growing in demand and that would grow in the next 5 to 10 years and get into a career path that will decline? And so many people make this mistake because they don't have an educated, informed process to making this decision. And that's why we are here today. And I'll show you exactly the career path you need to focus on. Of course, you also have the data analyst and the data scientist. So if you find yourself in a career path that involves data, you can't be making a mistake. 90% of the data generated that exists today was generated in the last 5 to 6 years. 90%. In fact, there are some studies that will tell you that 90% was generated in the last 2 years. So anybody who knows how to manage that data, analyze that data, extract insights from that data will get a job because organizations are looking for you. All right. You also have the big data specialists, which would form your data engineers. When you hear big data, what comes to mind is what? Data engineer. The data engineers manage the big data, they work with big data, they funnel big data into data warehouses and so on and so forth. You have the data engineers. This has also been clearly spelled out. And these are career paths that will grow in demand based on the World Economic Forum, based on the analysis we have done as well. You have the database architect. This is another data engineering role. Anybody who works with managing and storing the data, the database architect that builds the framework, this is also a part of data engineering. You have the process automation specialists. Process automation specialists. These are who? Your business analysts. Business analysts in organizations optimizes processes. They make something that takes 10 days. They reduce and optimize that process that will take 10 days to take just a few hours, 2 hours, by automating the process. So process automation specialist is formed under where? Business analysis. And of course, you have project managers, but not all the conventional project managers, but project managers that have the ability to implement and adopt the Agile framework. Because that's where you'd find the project managers in the tech ecosystem. Building products, tech-related products, involves the application of the Agile framework. So anybody who knows how to implement Agile, the Scrum principles, the Scrum methodology, would get a job within the project management ecosystem. So those are your Agile project managers, your Scrum masters, and so on and so forth. And of course, you have the financial analysts, you have the supply chain and logistics specialists. So we've looked at a couple of roles that would grow in demand based on the World Economic Forum. And based on this and the analysis we also carry out every end of the year, we came up with 8 different career paths that you get into this career path, you get a job the fastest within the different regions you reside. You're in Canada, you're in the US, you're in the UK, you're in Africa, you want to get a job. These 8 career paths will get you a job a lot faster. And they all have 3 things in common. The first one is ease of learning. And when you say ease of learning, it simply means you can learn the skills within the space of 3 to 5 months, depending on the career path you have selected. Within 3 to 5 months, you can learn the skill, pick up the skills. You have ease of transitioning, meaning that these roles are what's in demand. Organizations are looking for professionals within this space. And the salaries are also what? Fantastic. High and rewarding salaries. And these are the 3 criteria that all the different career paths I would expose to you all have in common. All right. And they include, number 1, the business analyst career path. Number 2, the data analysts. Number 3, the data scientists. Number 4, the data engineer. The cybersecurity analyst, number 5. Number 6, the agile project manager and Scrum master. And number 7, you have the HR analyst, which is a subset of the data analyst. And finally, you have the financial analysts. Now, out of these 8 career paths, the business analyst, the data analyst, the data scientist, the data engineer, the cybersecurity analyst, the agile project manager, Scrum master, the HR analyst, the financial analyst, which of these 8 career paths are you interested in? Type into the chat. Olivia is asking, what about software engineering? Software engineering is fantastic, but you can't learn it within the space of 3 to 5 months. So it does not fall under that criteria of ease of learning. You take about a year to learn, software engineering, back end and front end, full stack. Okay, so type into the chat, which of these 8 career paths? Okay, Onyekachi says financial analyst, Lawrence says cybersecurity, Rachel, business analyst, agile project manager, data analyst, financial analyst, absolutely phenomenal. Let's keep it coming. Adetimo says data analyst, Francis, business analyst, absolutely fantastic. Someone wants to even get into 2. Legit Boss says data scientist, project manager, and data analyst, 3 career paths. Absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so now the big question is, how do you get into these areas? You don't have any experience. What do you need to do? And this is where you'd say, hey, Adaiza, I have no experience or tech-related degree. I don't have a degree in computer science. I don't have any experience in anything data. How can I make this happen? What do I need to do? And like I mentioned earlier, I was there myself. I've been there. I started out as a management consultant. My first degree was in industrial chemistry. Okay, nothing related to tech. So what are the things you need to do? And I'm going to walk you through a 6 steps practical approach of what you need to do to transition from somebody who has a non-tech background to getting into the tech ecosystem. And I'll show you a little bit of practicals in terms of, specific platforms and things you need to leverage and do to transition, and how others who have joined us have been able to do the same thing you are trying to do as well. Okay, so I want you to take your notes, take your pen, and jot things down so you can take things away. Very important. So let's get started. What do I need to do? I have no experience. I have no tech-related degree. What are the steps I need to take? All right, so let's get into it. Number one, which is the most important, the first step is the most important, which is getting started. And in getting started, you need to identify the role you are interested in. So identify the target role. I've asked, you, what particular career path are you interested in? Some people said business analyst, data analyst, data science, and so on and so forth, okay? So you need to determine the role you are interested in. And it really doesn't matter the career path you choose, because what I've shown you so far is these are the career paths that are high in demand. These are the career path organizations are looking to hire people, and these are the career paths that will get you a job the fastest, okay? So you identify the role you are interested in. And that's one of the most important things you need to do. And once you've done that, the next step is for you to educate yourself. And when we talk about educating yourself, you have to what? You start learning the skills in that chosen career path. So you want to be a data analyst. You've identified that in the next couple of months, I want to become a data analyst. I want to get a job. I want to work on remote projects back in Ghana, back in Kenya, back in Nigeria, and I want to get jobs within the tech ecosystem. Educate yourself. And you must educate yourself by joining a learning partner. So what does a learning partner simply mean? A learning partner is that platform that will walk you through the entire process and follow you through your journey. So you're not just learning the skills, you learn the skills, you join an internship, you work on projects, you have somebody to look at your CV, you have somebody to look at your LinkedIn, and the entire process of the job application process. Because a lot of people get just one, the technical skills. I'm the best in the use of Python. I know how to build machine learning models. I can map out processes as a business analyst, but that does not get you the job. You need an entire bouquet of so many skills to get that job. And we're going to break it down step by step. But it's important that you join a learning partner where you get all this in one place. And this, eliminates the assumption, because I've done any question you likely would ask me today, I've been there before. I've interacted with people that would say, oh, I can learn this on YouTube. I can do this on, Udemy and so on. Those are the worst platforms to start your journey. They are fantastic for me as a professional who already has the foundation. I have the knowledge, I have the background, and I can learn and upskill by watching somebody's video on YouTube. But you want to get started from the very background, the very foundation. You need somebody to ask questions. You need somebody that would say, after you've completed the technical, this is the next thing you need to do. You need to have a CV that will capture all the skills that you have. You need to have a LinkedIn profile that will properly attract the best organizations out there. So it's very important that you work with a learning partner. Once you've gone over this step, the next step would be to gain experience. Because like I said, your technical skill is just 50% of the requirements to get a job. You need to gain experience. So you've worked in the bank as a banking officer, as a teller, as a cashier, and so on and so forth. So you've worked in the strategy department in one of the management consulting firms, or you've worked in the healthcare sector as a care worker, and so on and so forth. So you have no experience. So you need to gain experience and show to potential recruiters that you can do the job. And gaining experience does not mean you need to take your backpack, hop into the train, go to a physical office to do the job. No. How do you gain experience? By working on what? Projects. Gaining project-based experience. So project-based experience is simply where I have worked as a data scientist for 10 years. I create case studies from my experience and the problems I've solved in the past. So I create those case studies as projects, and anybody who wants to get a job as a data scientist would work on those same projects and solve the same problems I've solved working on the real job. So you gain my experience by working on the similar problems, the similar projects I've solved in the past. And that's how you build your project-based experience. And when you work on projects like that, you build a portfolio and you warehouse all your projects in that portfolio. Very important. I'll show you what a portfolio looks like. All right, a typical portfolio, you've worked on projects, you need to warehouse your projects in that portfolio. So any recruiter out there, any potential employer can see your work and the type of things you've done. The link to your portfolio will be on your CV. So once your CV has gone through the ATS system, anybody can click on that link, they can see what you've done, and they see how good you are, the depth of the skills that you have, apart from what you have on your CV. So this is very important. And this is how you build experience within the tech ecosystem. Even if you have no experience, but you've learned the skill, you need to work on projects, okay? Real life projects from real professionals that have done the job before. And that's what we do at Tenalytics. I've created case studies and projects from my experience. The co-founder who has worked as a business intelligence analyst, business systems analyst, data engineer, he's built projects as well. And other industry professionals build real world projects, and you get to work on those same projects to gain the same experience. So you know how to do the job on day one. When you are asked questions that are competency based, you can answer those questions. Questions bordering around the skills and experience that you have. For example, as a data scientist, you get asked the question, tell me how, on your CV, you said you built a machine learning model to predict student scores in a university, and this led to improvements in the students' performance by 20%. So tell me how you select your machine learning model, your machine learning algorithm, and the process of you building that machine learning model for this particular project. So you get asked during the interview to speak about that. If you haven't done it before, there is no way on earth you will be able to answer that question. And that's why it's important that you gain experience by working on real life projects. So when you get those type of questions, tell me about a time you built a machine learning model and walk me through the process of selecting the ideal machine learning algorithm that you implemented. Or tell me about a time you have managed a difficult stakeholder working on a process optimization project. The only way you answer questions like this is you haven't done those projects before. You must have done them before. If you haven't, you struggle to answer those type of competency-based projects, competency-based questions, I beg your pardon. So once you've worked on projects, remember, you've identified your skill. Number one, I want to become a data analyst. You learn and join a learning platform that will walk you through the entire process. The projects you're going to work on, they provide that for you. You also secure internships. And the internship, every Tenalytics participant intern with Tenalytics. So when you join Tenalytics, you're not joining Tenalytics as a learner or as a student. You join Tenalytics as a contractor or a consultant. So you're an employee with us. And this is what positions you to get that job, because everybody sees you out there as somebody working in an organization that have done the same thing before, and you can do it for me because you've done it before. You're not a learner, you're not a trainee, you are a professional. So that's very important. So once you've gained experience, what next? You need to develop employability skills. And this is where a lot of people fail. Failure in landing a job stems from developing employability skills. A lot of people think they only need a technical skill to get the job. And I would expose you to an equation called the T+E equation, which gives you the job. T is for technical and E is for employability. Without the employability skills, you're going to struggle to get a job. Employability includes your CV. Do you have the appropriate CV format? Do you have a CV that can easily beat the ATS system? Do you know how to tailor your CV to job requirements so you get called for that interview? Because your CV is your representation in paper format. Before I invite you for an interview, I'll look at your CV first of all. So you have a CV that is attractive enough to get invited for an interview. Do you have a LinkedIn profile that can attract the biggest and the best organizations? Do you know how to answer questions during interviews? If I ask you to introduce yourself, what approach do you deploy to introducing yourself? If I ask you a competency-based question, what structure do you deploy to answer competency-based questions? So these are skills you also need to build that gives you that complete opportunity to apply to a job, go into that room, do the best you can, leave them with the impression that you're the best for that job and get the job. And of course, after developing your employability skills, you also need to have a network. And I'll tell you a very quick story how networking is very important. Now, Stephen, who used to work as a customer service representative in Glasgow, Scotland, I showed you his picture the other time. Stephen got a job as a data analyst. And immediately he got the job, the HR consultant reached out to him to recommend two more people. And he came to me, hi Adeza, the HR consultant is requesting for 2 more data analysts because they had other roles to fill. And all I needed to do was we sent this to our community of different, classes. And if you're interested, send your CV to this particular email. They needed somebody that worked and lived in Scotland. Okay, somebody that lived in Scotland, either in Aberdeen, in Glasgow, Edinburgh, and so on and so forth. Okay, so it was location specific, and he sent that message to me. I forwarded the message to our community, and we had people who applied, and 2 people got the jobs as data analysts from the community. And this is Stephen. One person got a job and he was asked to recommend. And this is how people get jobs. So the power of being in a community is also very important. Community of like-minded people, people that are also trying to achieve the same thing you're trying to achieve, and it opens you up to opportunities within the space. All right. And finally, mentorship. And so many people have been searching for jobs for the last 1 year, for the last 6 months. Maybe they started in January, it's July, and they are still searching because they don't have mentors. I've made so many mistakes in the past. And the beauty of anybody who has joined Analytics is they don't get to make the same mistakes I've made, because you have a mentor who would walk you through all the things you need to do. The irrelevancies, you show them away, and you focus on the relevance that will help you get the job. And that's what the mentor does for you. The mentor accelerates your journey. So the same mistakes people have made in the past, you don't make those same mistakes. And they guide you and walk you through every single nitty-gritty of what you need to get into the tech ecosystem. And this is the 6th pathway, the 6 pillars for you to transition and get a job. And as we move on, I'm going to distill and break them down into more parts. For example, what does a portfolio look like? When you work on projects, how do you build a portfolio? What does your portfolio look like? How do you showcase your portfolio? I'm going to show you that as well. And as we move on during our session. And of course, you've all chosen different career paths. You've seen different ways as a data analyst, as a data scientist, as a HR analyst, different ways to get a job. And like I said, understanding that as a data analyst, I can get a job as a business intelligence analyst. I can get a job as a product analyst, as a sales analyst, marketing analyst. Usually is the difference between that person who is searching for a job and gets interviews faster than the other person who is searching for just data analyst roles. So as a data analyst, you can get jobs in different areas. Same as a data scientist. You can get a job as a machine learning engineer, as a demand planning analyst, as a computer vision engineer, NLP developer, and so on and so forth. And having this good understanding is what separates you from the competition, because while others are searching for only one specific type of role, you know how to target and narrow your focus based on specific job roles. And you get that interview a lot faster than the other person who is searching using the broader category of jobs. So I'll share this with you as well. I'll leave this on my slide. You have access to see the different job roles. And that's where you see jobs like the sustainability data analyst, the pathology data analyst, the benefits analyst. As a business analyst, you'd see the process automation specialist, the business systems analyst, the process analyst. And these are all roles that falls under business analysis. But how do you even get into any of these career paths? What do they entail? If I want to become a business analyst today, or I want to become a process automation analyst, what do I need to learn? And so many people start by learning, for example, data science. You want to become a data scientist. The only thing that comes to their mind is Python. Oh, I want to learn Python. And they start by learning Python. For anybody who starts their journey as a data scientist and starts from Python, what you are doing is equivalent to building a house, but starting by building the roof before you build the foundation. So Python is one of the last things you'd ever get to learn as a data scientist. The first thing is to learn the foundation, the background to data science, which is statistics. Okay, so I'm going to walk you through the nitty-gritty you need to learn. And so you don't make the mistake so many people make out there, learning the wrong things, no structured learning approach, and they learn both the relevant and the irrelevant. Back in the days when I was trying to transition, because I had nobody to guide me, I learned tools I have never ever used for one day in my career. One of them is MongoDB. Okay, I learned MongoDB, which is a big data, a NoSQL database. It's called NoSQL database, MongoDB, to manage and handle large data sets. I have never gotten to use MongoDB for one day in my professional career over the last decade. And it took me so long to learn. And why did I learn it? I was searching for a job. I saw the job had MongoDB, and I decided to go learn MongoDB. And a lot of people make the same mistake. They look at a job, see something on that job, and they go learn the skill. They look at another job, see another skill, they go learn that skill. So you are learning forever without eventually applying to get a job. Okay, so what exactly do you need to learn to transition? And these are the things I'll be showing you in the next few slides. All right, so how do you get into any of the career paths we have listed so far? And I want you to just follow me. I'll walk you through all the 8 career paths and what they entail and what you need to get into any of them. Let's start with the business analysis career path. So you want to become a business analyst today. What do you need to learn? Who is a business analyst, first of all? So the business analysts in any organization, you have 3 major components. You have the people in an organization, you have the processes, and you have the technology. Okay, every organization would have these 3 components. The business analyst is the professional that focuses on the processes. Every organization has a process or has multiple processes depending on what they want to do. Now, imagine you work in an organization where customers order something and that product or that item has to be delivered to the customer. As a business analyst, processes that takes 5 days. For customers to order and get their products, it takes 5 days. How can I reduce these 5 days to 24 hours? As a business analyst, that's your focus. Your focus is on process optimization, making things faster, making things more efficient so you can increase revenue and reduce losses. So the first thing you do as a business analyst is to map out the process. How does this process start? And how does the process end? For it to take 10 days. And in between, who are the specific stakeholders involved from the start of the process to the end of the process. So you call this process mapping. You map out the process from the beginning till the end, when the customer orders to when the product is delivered to the customer. So it takes 10 days. You look at each step all through the way. Where do you have gaps? Where do you have inefficiencies? What strategies can you put in place to optimize those gaps and inefficiencies? Perhaps you have a manual process where when the customer orders, somebody has to physically go to a store to check if that item is in the store, and that takes time. So what if we implement an order management system, a platform that has inventory management? So the inventory management, for example, let's call it inventory management IM. You simply just program the software or program the application, and you have 100 bags to sell. So when a customer goes online and orders a bag, automatically it reduces from 100 to what? 99. So you can see clearly at the back end the number of items left. So nobody has to physically go to the store to check if we have a bag of that particular color available, because you have an inventory management system. Now, the business analyst is the person that recommends solutions like this. You recommend solutions to do what? Automate the process. And that's why business analysts are also called process automation specialists. So you come up with the recommendations. We need to have an inventory management system, an order management system, and so on and so forth. And this is what would help us reduce our order to delivery time from 5 days to just 24 hours. Now, as the business analyst, you would also be the person to manage that project, because you will not be the one to build the inventory system or the order management system, but you would manage the project to ensure that it is built to the requirements of that organization. Okay, and this is where the business analyst also needs project management skills. So those technologies, those applications, those software that you need to implement that will reduce something that takes 5 days to 24 hours will be built by a technology team. All right, and you would manage the project to ensure that the technology team builds what the business wants and meets the requirements of the business. That's essentially the role of the business analyst. So you'd have project management skills. You'd have process mapping skills to map out processes. You'd know how to manage software-related projects, because building the inventory management system is an application. It's a software. So you need to know how to manage projects like this. And when you see technology-related projects, they are built using the Agile framework and the Scrum methodology. So you need to have an understanding of that too as the business analyst. So remember, at the back of your mind, the business analysts are also process automation specialists. They look at processes, look at how to make that process more efficient to ensure the company can save time, reducing costs and increasing revenue. So in summary, that's what the business analyst will do. Now, the business analyst of today, the modern business analyst in 2024, also needs to have data analytics skills. And that's why you'd see roles like business data analysts. There are new emerging roles today called the business data analyst role. And these are business analysts that has a flavor of data analytics embedded in their role and responsibilities. And that's why we looked at what the market currently demands, and we fleshed out our curriculum to also include data analytics. So you start by learning Excel, Power BI, and SQL, and these are your data skills as a business analyst. Then you have to learn process mapping using tools like Lucidchart, Draw.io to map out processes. How does this process start? How does it end? You map out the process, you see all the different activities, the stakeholders, the decision points, so you can tell where the issues are and how to optimize those issues by implementing the right type of strategies and technologies. Okay, you'd also learn project initiation planning, because remember, that project you recommended, that application you recommended that we need to build to reduce the time from 5 days to 24 hours. You need to know how to manage that project. You need to know how to initiate the project. You need to know how to implement the Agile and the Scrum framework for projects. You also need to understand the software development lifecycle, how a software is planned, how it is designed, how it is built, how it is deployed, how it is maintained, and so on and so forth. You need to understand the life cycle, because those are the type of projects you'll be managing. You also need to know requirements fundamentals. So when you map out your process and you see that when a customer orders, the customer orders by placing a phone call to a customer service representative. The customer service representative is a key stakeholder in that process. The customer service representative transfers the customer details to the store manager. The store manager is another important stakeholder. So as the business analyst coming up with solutions to optimize that process, you are going to have sessions, you have conversations with the customer service representative, with the store manager, and even the customer to come up with the requirements that you need to implement that solution to make that process better. So the process of you asking questions, setting up survey instruments to sending it to customers for customers to give you feedback, this is you gathering what? Requirements. And it falls under requirement fundamentals. And these are the things you'd use to build your requirement documents that would inform what you share to the technology team. So they build exactly what is relevant to that company. All right. You'd also learn elicitation, asking the right questions during interviews, knowing the right questions to ask to get the answers that will help you solve the problems. And of course, you're going to manage projects, manage a lot of people on the project. You need to know what we call stakeholder analysis and engagement. How to rank your stakeholders, both internal and external, based on their influence, how to communicate with them, and how to get the best out of your stakeholders, because you manage and work with a lot of stakeholders as a business analyst. And finally, you have ChatGPT, which is AI for business analysis. All right. So when you look at the skills from number 1 to number 9, you'd learn data analytics skills. You'd also learn what? Project management skills. Number 3 to 5 are your what? Project management skills. And then you'd learn the core business analysis skills. All right. You'd learn how to use Jira to track project deliverables, Trello to manage project tasks and activities. You'd learn Confluence for collaboration, ChatGPT for business analysis, because you can't run away from AI today. AI has come to stay. How do you leverage AI to make your work a lot faster, a lot better, and a lot more seamless? So these are the skills you're going to learn. You'd learn for 4 months as a business analyst, 2 months in class and 2 months internship. Remember, I talked about how important the internship is, because this is where you gain experience. And your internship is real-world based. You work with a software developer, a real-life software developer, where you'll be helping a company to optimize their HR process. So the HR department is very manual. When people want to go on leave, they send emails, and it takes a lot of time to get approved. Some of the emails fall through the cracks, and it's so inefficient. So as a business analyst, you'd work with that company to help them optimize their HR department, to make the process more seamless by building a web application. So you'd have a software developer who would be building, and you would be the business analyst managing that project. So you're managing the project, you have a software developer, you have a Scrum Master, and you're all working on the projects together, including other stakeholders, to solve this problem. And this is where you gain your real life work experience. So when you get questions that are competency-based, you know how to answer them because you've done it in the real world. You've worked with a software developer. You've used Jira to track your project deliverables. You know how to do that. You know how to, set up your project review meetings to see what has been done and so on and so forth. And you'd learn in class Saturdays and Sundays. It really doesn't matter where you are. If you're in the UK, you are in Africa, you are in a similar time zone in Europe, you have a time that fits your time zone. So 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK time on Saturdays, you have a live class where you have your trainer and your facilitator teaching you all the things you need to know and working on projects. And on Sundays, I beg your pardon, if you're in Canada, you are in the US, you also have a time that fits your time zone. All right. So 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain time. Okay. So if you're in the UK, for example, you have a class 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Now, if those in Canada would have their classes later in the evening based on your own time in the UK. So you can decide that I'm busy in the morning, so I can't join the morning class. So I'm going to join the class with those in the US and Canada, which would happen later in the evening at 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. UK time. All right. So you have a class that fits your time zone. It doesn't matter where you are. And on Sundays, if you're in the UK, you're in Europe, West Africa, similar time zone, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. and 12 noon to 3 p.m. Mountain time if you're in the US or in Canada. All right. So these times are flexible. It doesn't matter where you are. You have a class that fits your time zone. So I want you to take a screenshot. And if somebody ever asks you, what does it take to become a business analyst? You know exactly the tools, the technologies you need to learn. And most importantly, not just the technical skill, but what? You also need the employability skill, and you need to work on projects as well, the real world project. So that's for the business analyst. Like I said, if you have questions, just don't type your questions yet so I don't lose track of it, but make a note of it. Make a note of the questions, and I'll take your questions before we wrap up our session today. Now, let's go to 3 other career paths: the data analyst, the data scientist, and the data engineer. But I'm going to start with the data engineer. Why? And I want you to write this down. The data engineer is the data provider. The data engineer, let's call the data engineer DE. The data engineer is what? The data provider. Type data provider in the chat. Data provider. Just type it into the chat. The data engineer is the data provider. So the data engineer is the person that ensures that data is available. Data does not fall from the sky. Data does not just appear from the thin air. Data must be gotten from somewhere and made available to anybody who needs that data. So type into the chat, the data engineer is the data provider. Type data provider. And let's use a practical example. Now, everybody would have a meter in their homes. Your utility company, depending on the utility company you use, you have a meter somewhere inside your house, in your basement, or somewhere around your home. You have a meter. The meter tracks your energy consumption, your power consumption. Okay? Now, let's assume we work for a company, for a utility company in the UK. The utility company is what? British Gas. British Gas. Or you work for a utility company in Canada, Zoom Energy, or so on and so forth. Okay, but let's say you work for British Gas. That's your utility company. British Gas provides you with what? With power. So you have power in your home to charge your phones, to watch your TV, to put on your heating, and so on and so forth. And British Gas wants to know, on a particular street, they want to know the power consumption from all the houses on that street. So let's say this is the 95th Street. 95th Street. Okay. What is the total power consumption. Okay, what's the total power consumption, from all the houses on the 95th Street? How do we get the data to answer this question? How do we get the data to answer this question? So the data is available somewhere. You all have your meters. So let's assume this is our meter. So the data, because the meter will track your power consumption, if you have supply, if you don't have supply, how much power you consumed this month, last week, yesterday, and so on. And this meter has a database where this data is stored, but you can't see where the data is. You and I cannot get into the meter to get the data from where the data is stored to make that data available so we can answer this question: what is the total power consumption from all the houses on the 95th Street? So what the data engineer does is to build something you call ETL pipelines. ETL pipelines. So just like the pipelines you lay, the ETL pipelines, and these pipelines would move the data from where the data is into another location called the data warehouse. Called the what? The data warehouse. The data warehouse is where the data is now available for anybody to access that data. So the data analyst who wants to answer the question, what's the total power consumption on the 95th Street, can get data from this data warehouse to answer that question. The data scientist that also needs to analyze, build a machine learning model, can also get into this data warehouse to get the data that they need to build their machine learning model. But who makes the data available? The data engineers. They build these ETL pipelines, moving data from all the different systems where the data is generated, from your meters, where the data is generated, into a data warehouse, where that data is structured and stored for easy access to any stakeholder that needs that data. And that's why we call the data engineer the data provider. Without the data engineer making this data available in the data warehouse or in a database, the data analyst, the data scientist, the business analyst, the HR analyst cannot get access to that data. So the data engineer is very, very important to ensuring data is available, building the data infrastructure, ensuring that data is always gotten at every point in time from all the meters from all the houses on the 95th Street, every single day, every single time that that data is needed, the data is available in the data warehouse. And of course, you need certain type of skills to do this. So now that the data engineer has made the data available, all right, it's time for the data analyst to answer that question. How much power consumption do we have on the 95th Street from all the houses? So now we have the data warehouse. Data is in this data warehouse. The data analyst can access the data from that data warehouse. And the data analyst would start by doing something. The major questions the data analyst would answer in any organization are two questions. The data analyst. The first question is what happened? And the second question is, why did it happen? Why did it happen? So what happened is simply saying, tell me what happened. So we want to know, what is the total power consumption on the 95th Street from Monday till Friday, or let's say from Sunday till Friday, or from January till June? What's the total consumption on the 95th Street from January to June, the first 6 months? So that's what happened. You want to know what happened on the 95th Street. How much power was consumed on the 95th Street? The data analyst would always answer this question. And when you hear the question, what happened, you are looking into a part of analytics called descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics. Descriptive analytics answers the question, what happened? So the data analyst would get the data from this data warehouse, all right, and use that to answer that question. The total power consumption on the 95th Street from January to June, and build something like a chart that looks like this. So you have January, you have February, March, April, May, and June. Okay. Now in January, the power consumption was around, let's say, 150 kilowatt hours. Okay, let us say 150 kilowatt hours. In February, it increased to 250. In March, it increased further to what? 300. In April, it dropped a little bit to what? 270. May, it dropped again to what? 130. And in June, it dropped again to what? 120. So the data analyst would get the data and analyze that, use one of the analytic tools like Excel to draw a chart that shows that in January you had 150, in February you had 250, in March you had what? 300. This is what happened. So you see that rise and you see the drop, the decline. That is what happened. And that is called what? Descriptive analytics. Answering the question, what happened? Now, anybody who sees this would ask, why do we have a spike in March? And why do we have a decline in April? So it increased from January to February till March. There was an increase. And then it started to decline from March, April, it declined, May, it declined, and June, it declined. And I want somebody to take a wild guess. Why do you think it peaked in March and it started to decline from March all the way down to June? Take a wild guess and type into the chat. Why do you think, the power consumption would have gone up and peaked in the month of March? Let's see. I want to get, a feeling of the thoughts. Because of the weather. Lawrence says because of the weather. Weather change, fantastic. Winter, Giwa, absolutely fantastic. So March is when you usually have the peak of winter. Well, it also depends on where you live. But in March, so January, you're already in winter, right? But not so cold. February, it starts to get really cold. And in March, it gets ridiculously cold. You start to see the -40, the -30 something, and so on and so forth. So everybody would put on their heaters. So consumption would increase. But after March, winter starts to fade a little bit and the power consumption reduces. So you see that power consumption declines. So when you see what has happened, increase and decline, you need to start asking the second question, which is, why do we have a peak in the month of March? And why has it declined after March? So when you start to ask the question, why did something happen based on what has happened? You are diving deeper into another level of analytics called what? Diagnostic. Diagnostic analytics. So here you are tying what has happened to events and patterns and trends. So you might do another chart to show the temperature. And you see that in March, when you had 300 kilowatts consumed on that street, the temperature in March was maybe -40 degrees. So it was very cold. So as the temperature decreases, the power consumption increases because it gets colder and more people are using their heaters. So you consume more power. So you want to always find out what happened and why did it happen? And you guys have given me the answer. Okay, so the change in weather. So in January, the weather was maybe around -5 degrees, maybe -5 degrees, right? In February, you had -8 degrees or -10. But in the month of March, you have -40. So it got very cold in March, and what happened? Power consumption spiked because more people started to use their heater. So you now know why it happened. So what happened is descriptive analytics. Why it happened is diagnostic. You are looking for patterns and trends and events to help you answer why what happened happened. Now, the data scientist now takes it a step further. So the data scientist would do number one, descriptive, number two, diagnostic, and add something extra. So the data scientist does something we call what? Predictive analytics. Predictive analytics. And this is answering the question, analytics. Pardon my handwriting. And this is answering the question, what is likely going to happen? What is likely going to what? Happen. What is likely going to happen? So now you want to predict into the future. So here you have -5, -10, -40, and here maybe you have -15. Here you have 25 degrees, and here you have 30 degrees. So the increase in temperature would lead to the decline of power consumption. But now you want to know what will happen from July to December. What will the power consumption look like? Using data from the past, can you predict and look into the future and forecast in July, will power consumption go up or will it go down? In August, will it go up or will it go down? September, will it go up or will it go down? So when you want to look into the future, you want to forecast and answer the question, what is likely going to happen or what will happen? You are going into predictive analytics, and that's where the data scientist comes in. The data scientist now needs to apply statistical models, machine learning, and so on and so forth to help predict and forecast into the future. Because organizations want to know what will happen in the future. If I'm a utility company like British Gas, I want to know what my customers would likely consume. How much power will they consume in the future? So I can ensure that my power plants, my units are properly maintained and can deliver the right amount of power to my customers. Okay, so I want to see in September, what will the consumption look like? In October, what will it look like? So the data scientist takes historical data from what has happened, why it happened, and predicts what will happen in the future. And that's where the data scientist takes it a step further. So remember, the data engineer provides the data, okay, by creating ETL pipelines, extracting the data from where the data is to where the data is needed and can be easily accessed. The data analyst would do descriptive and diagnostic, answer the question what happened and why it happened by using data and analytic tools, while the data scientist would focus on what? Predictive analytics. What will happen by building statistical models, machine learning models to predict what will happen in the future. And these are the three roles called the data analyst, the data scientist, and the data engineer roles. All right. So what do you learn to become a data analyst? You need to learn problem solving. That's where it all starts from. Identifying a problem, knowing how to break problems into multiple parts so you can answer those problems. You solve those problems in multiple parts, and eventually you solve the entire problem. Knowing how to use techniques like the 5 whys to get to the root cause of the problem. Knowing how to use the McKinsey-Mason model to breaking problems into mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive parts. So when you solve a problem, you're solving the entire problem without leaving any part of that problem solved. So you learn the problem-solving technique. And this is where I tell people, most of the time, you don't start from problem solving. I see people learning data to become data analysts, and they start by learning the practical tools. They get into the tools and start using it practically. That's one of the worst ways to learn. You need to build a foundation and build on that foundation. All right. So you start from problem solving, and then you move into Excel, the most versatile data analytic tool. Then you move into SQL, structured query language, which is the language that would enable you to go into that data warehouse. The data warehouse the data engineer has created. For you to get the data from there, you need to understand SQL, structured query language. That's what would help you interact, engage, extract data from that data warehouse. Then you'd learn Power BI for data visualization, business intelligence, and then you'd also learn Tableau for data analytics, data visualization, which is pretty much similar to Power BI. However, knowing the two as a data analyst, Power BI and Tableau, it opens you up to more opportunities. So you are not selecting the jobs you're applying to because you have Power BI. If they want Power BI, you give it to them. If they want Tableau, you give it to them. Okay? So you also learn data storytelling, which is the art of communication. After you've done your analysis, you communicate those findings to the people that will take the decision. You as a data analyst would not take the decision. You would look at the data, analyze the data, extract the insights, see what happened, why it happened, and give recommendations. Your line manager, your director, your CEO, your board members are the ones that will take the decision. So how do you communicate your findings in a way that it is non-technical to stakeholders who don't understand all the technicalities that you've gone through to come up with those recommendations? So you communicate in a way that is very easy for them to understand and take those decisions. And of course, you'd also learn AI for data analytics using ChatGPT and Microsoft Fabric for analytics. And Microsoft Fabric is a new technology, a new platform recently launched by Microsoft that gives you access to building Power BI dashboards on the web, collaborating using the same data warehouse, the same data lakes on Microsoft Fabric. I can build a data lake on Microsoft Fabric, and somebody in the UK can also work on that same data lake to what? Write their machine learning algorithms. So Microsoft Fabric is a platform that is all inclusive, and organizations are migrating to Microsoft Fabric. So having the skill positions you ahead of the competition. And what does it take you to learn? How long does it take? As a data analyst, for 4 months, you start your journey, 3 months in class and 1 month internship. 3 months in class, project-based environment, project-based learning, and 1 month internship. And your classes, your live classes happens on Saturdays. So on Saturdays when you have a live class, where you have a trainer like myself who'd walk you through the nitty-gritty of what it takes, the type of projects you need to work on, and we solve problems together. You have the opportunity to ask me questions, share your screen, and so on and so forth. And of course, you have classes that fit your time zone. If you're in the UK, Europe, Africa, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. UK time, West Africa time. If you're in Canada, you're in the US, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mountain time, or 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. UK time. So for somebody in the UK, or for somebody in Nigeria, or for somebody in somewhere around Europe, in Germany, in Poland, you can decide. You join the class in the morning, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., or join the class in the evening for those in the US, which would be 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. your time. So you have that flexibility, all right? And on Sundays, you get to learn on our LMS, our learning management system. You don't need to be in a class, a live class. It's called the self-paced watch me do it video. So you watch those videos at your convenience, you practice the things you see, and I'll show you the platform and how you'll be learning on the LMS, okay? And as a data scientist, you start with statistics. That's the foundation. All the machine learning, all the statistical modeling, all the forecasting, the predictive analytics is all hinged on statistics. Without statistics, you can't understand anything machine learning. Even if you can write machine learning, you can build machine learning models, You will not understand the key drivers behind why what is happening is happening. So you need to start from the foundation and build on that. Then you learn Excel, but this time around, you are learning Excel for forecasting and predictive analytics. You learn Tableau for data analytics, SQL to interact with databases, structured query language. You'd learn Python for programming. So you see that Python comes in at number 5. And a lot of people make the mistake by starting with Python. So what happened to statistics? What happened to Excel? What happened to Tableau? What happened to SQL? All right. So you need to have these foundations. You need to have the fundamental building blocks before you move into Python. And you'd use your Python for exploratory data analysis, EDA, your machine learning, computer vision. You'd learn version control using GitHub. You'd also learn AI for data science using GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT. And of course, you'd also learn Microsoft Fabric. As a data engineer, the data provider, the person that ensures that the data analyst and the data scientist can do their jobs because the data is available. You start by learning introduction to data engineering. You move into SQL and Python, which would be your bread and butter, the fundamentals in which you build the pipelines. You see those pipelines you're going to build, the data warehouse, where you store the data. You're going to build your pipelines with Python, writing Python scripts, Python programs, and you'd use the SQL to build your data warehouse, your databases, and so on and so forth. You'd learn Linux for your bash scripting. You'd learn how to build ETL pipelines, connecting to databases, getting data from APIs, web scraping data from the web, and so on and so forth. You'd learn Apache Spark, how to use Apache Spark and Airflow for your data pipeline automation. Because guess what? You need to ensure that that data that you're getting from the meters are always available in the data warehouse for the data analyst and the data scientist. So you need to automate the process in a way that even if you're not there, those, the pipeline still runs and still extracts the data, transforms the data, and loads the data into the data warehouse. And that is the ETL. Somebody asked the question earlier, what is ETL? E is for extract. You extract the data from where the data is. The data could be in a database from the metering system. It could be on the web, wherever the data is, you extract, and then you transform. Transform is where you do what? Ensure that the data is in the right shape, the right format. Before you do what? You load the data into the data warehouse. So extract, transform, and load. And of course, you'd learn cloud engineering with AWS, also GCP. You work on projects using GCP, the Google Cloud Platform, and also Microsoft Azure. So this makes you a well-rounded data engineer, because while your focus would be on AWS, you'd also know how to build data warehouses. You understand how to use the Google Cloud Platform, and also learn how to use the Microsoft Azure Cloud Platform. So it doesn't matter the job you're applying to, you have the skills in all of them, all the three. And of course, you learn version control with GitHub and AI for data engineering using GitHub Copilot and ChatGPT. And of course, you have your learning timeline is for 5 months. So unlike the data analyst and the data scientist, the data engineering program takes 5 months, 3 months in class and 2 months for your internship. Because you have an end-to-end robust internship as a data engineer where you are building the architecture. Okay, you are building the what? Architecture. What time in Calgary, Alberta? So Calgary, Alberta is mountain time, Julius. Mountain time, so that would be 11 a.m. your time. Okay. So 5 months, 3 months in class, 2 months for your internship. And you have your class on Saturdays, your live class on Saturdays. And on Sundays, you join the learning management system where you get to watch at your own convenience and you learn and build all the things you see from the video on the learning management system. But on Saturday, 4 p.m. to 7 p.m. If you are in the UK, you are in Nigeria, similar time zone, or 8 a.m. to 11 a.m. Mountain Time. If you are in Canada, you are in the US, you have a time zone that fits you have a class that fits your time zone. So you have a flexible class where you can join at any given point in time. And on Sundays, you don't have a live class. You have your self-paced class where you get to join and watch your videos on the LMS and practice ahead of the next live class the following Saturday. Now, the next two career paths, the financial analyst and the HR analyst. The financial analyst is simply a data analyst that focuses on financial records. So a financial analyst is a data analyst that focuses on financial records or financial data. So all the things a data analyst would do in terms of the skills, you're going to learn problem solving, you're going to learn Excel, you're going to learn Power BI, you're going to learn SQL. These are your data skills. But this time around, unlike the data analyst that would be working on the power consumption from customers, that would look at the customer data and so on and so forth, the financial analyst focuses on what? Financial data. So you want to help your organization identify areas for cost optimization by analyzing their financial data. You want to identify and measure the financial performance of that company by looking at their net profit margin, return on equity, return on investment, and so on and so forth. You want to advise and recommend investment solutions or investment opportunities to the company and providing them with that based on data-driven decisions. You also want to build scenarios, look at scenarios based on changes in the industry, changes in the sector. So if you have a new change from the regulator, they've increased the inflation rates, they reduced inflation rates. How does this impact the industry? How does it impact the company? So you as a financial analyst would work on financial records to help the organization make informed data-driven decisions focused on the financial aspect of the business. And that's why you learn accounting fundamentals. You'd also learn financial analysis using different ratios to measure performance, to measure the financial health of the company and so on. You'd learn how to model, build financial models, all right? The best case, the worst case, the base case. You want to start a new company. What are the assumptions you are looking at? What should your financial progression look like in the next 5 years? All right, what's the best case scenario? What's the worst case? What's the base case? As a financial analyst, you'll be building financial models. You'd learn valuation techniques, the corporate finance part of being a financial analyst. All right, how do you evaluate a company based on different factors? The company, the industry the company operates, the type of assets they have, and so on and so forth. Your sensitivity and scenario analysis. How would different scenarios play based on different economic changes, economic downturns, regulatory changes, and so on? And of course, you'd learn AI for financial analytics using ChatGPT. Again, the program is for 4 months, just like the data analytics program. The difference is you are a little bit more focused on the financial data of the company and not all the types of data that you get as a data analyst. All right. Now, the HR analyst is pretty much similar. The HR analyst is a data analyst that focuses on what? On HR data, on people data. Okay, so you're going to learn the skills as a data analyst: problem solving, Excel, Power BI, SQL. These are the data skills. The data analyst also has these skills. The difference is we are using these skills and tools to extract insights from HR-related data, people-related data. A company is currently experiencing a very high attrition rate. Employees are leaving. You want to get the data from exit interviews over the last 6 months, analyze that data to tell which factors are responsible for employee attrition. You want to know and answer questions like, what parts of our training budget drives business results? When we send employees for training, we see an improvement in efficiency, in productivity. So what part of our training budget helps us to do that? You want to know what is the single best source of hire for technical recruiters or for technical recruits who outperform their colleagues. So you hire people from your website, you post your adverts, you get employees from your HR consultant, you give them the project and tell them to help you hire people. And then you also hire people from LinkedIn. So you have different sources where you hire employees from. As a HR analyst, you want to know our best performing employees that outperform their colleagues. Where do we hire them from? Do they come from LinkedIn? If they come from LinkedIn, then we can keep on optimizing that recruitment channel and get more people from LinkedIn. Or are they coming from a particular HR consultant? So we keep that HR consultant on a retainer and keep on getting employees from that HR consultant, because our best performing employees come from that particular, recruitment channel. So these are the type of questions you'll be answering as a HR analyst. So you're a data analyst that focuses on HR data. So you're also going to learn HR analytics and performance evaluation, knowing the right type of metrics to measure, knowing how to measure the performance of the organization based on the performance of employees and so on. The HR metrics and life cycle. How does absenteeism impact productivity? How do you carry out diversity and inclusion analysis? And how does it impact the organization? What's the gender distribution in the organization? Okay, if I look at attrition, you carry out attrition analysis and so on and so forth. How do we reduce the number of employees leaving? By implementing policies and strategies that are people-driven. You learn how to build dashboards using Power BI, Excel, working on HR data, collaboration and report automation, learn how to automate your reports as a HR professional, because most of the reports you'd have to present would come in monthly, every month, and you don't want to build it every single month. You want to automate it in a way that, using Power BI, in a way that once you build it the first time, next month, you just get new data, put the data into the folder, and the report is automated, is updated automatically. All right? You want to learn how to build your case and create action, and also learn AI for HR analytics using ChatGPT. The learning timeline is the same. 4 months, just like the data analytics program. 3 months in class, 1 month internship. And Saturdays, you have your live class. And this is where you can join the class depending on where you are, the time zone that fits your time zone. Morning for those in the UK, Nigeria, Europe. Evening for those in Canada, which would be morning your time, or for those in the US as well. And on Sundays, you don't have a live class. Your class is tailored by you going to the LMS, which I'll show you the platform before we wrap it up. Okay, so we are wrapping up in the next 15 minutes. So make a note of all the questions you have so I can take all your questions before we wrap it and call it a day today. The next career path we'll be looking at is the Agile Project Manager and the Scrum Master Program. This is a double-packed career path. You're not just a Scrum Master, but you're also an Agile Project Manager. So it gives you the latitude of so many types of jobs you can apply to. You can get a job as a project manager, as a PMO analyst, as a Scrum Master, as an Agile coach, and so on and so forth. All right? And what do you do as a project manager, an Agile project manager, and Scrum Master? You are responsible for managing projects, implementing the Agile methodology, ensuring that those projects are completed on time, within scope, and on budget. So you're helping your team to be efficient in delivering on their projects, also leveraging the Scrum principles. Okay, so where there are impediments, the team is trying to achieve something, and you have a blocker. You're responsible for removing that blocker. You're responsible for facilitating meetings between different departments to ensure that your team delivers on the projects that they need to deliver. So you're learning not just to become a Scrum Master, but also to become an Agile project manager, which places you ahead or above of any project manager out there. Because Agile is simply the project management framework that is adopted within the tech ecosystem. Your WhatsApp, your Instagram, your Facebook were all built using the Agile framework. Because the Agile framework is iterative. It is not start, finish, and deploy. No, you start the project, and then as you work on that project, you build the very first important features and you deploy it to the market. So you're trying to build the next WhatsApp. WhatsApp needs to be able to send messages. You need to be able to upload videos. And that's the very first thing you need to build. So you build that and you deploy it into the market, and people would use it, test, and give you feedback. And based on the feedback, you keep on making that product better, and you release updates from time to time. So you have a product that fits what the market needs, and you get the best product market fits at the end of the day. It's different from the conventional project management methodology, which is the waterfall, which would imply that you start the project, you complete the project before you deploy it into the market. So Agile is more, flexible, is iterative, and you work on the project based on feedback that you receive from the users. How do you become an Agile project manager / the Scrum Master? You start by learning introduction to project management methodologies. You'd learn how to communicate, project management skills and communication, the foundation of Agile and Scrum. You'd understand the Scrum framework, because that will be your bread and butter. You'd learn the Scrum artifacts, increments, the sprints, the product backlogs. You'd learn advanced Scrum practices and Agile practices. You'd learn how to use Jira and Confluence on end-to-end project. Jira to track project deliverables, Confluence to collaborate on projects. And of course, you'd learn Kanban, how to use Kanban boards for your workflow management. You'd learn the velocity, burn up, burn down charts, which are the metrics and reporting for the Agile framework. You'd learn leadership, the Nexus scale Scrum, which is implementing Scrum on an enterprise scale across multiple teams. And we prepare you for the professional Scrum Master program, okay? So this is an error. The program is for 3 months, okay? So this is a new addition, all right? Initially, it was just called the Scrum Master program, but we fleshed it up to also include the Agile project management, all right? So 3 months in class, and then you have a 1 month internship. So you learn for 3 months in class and then a 1 month internship. And your classes are live on Saturdays and Sundays. So on Saturday, you have a live class. On Sunday, you have a live class, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. West African time on Saturday, and 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. West Africa time on Sundays. So here you have a combination of not just one career path, but two. You're a project manager and at the same time, a Scrum Master. And finally, last but not the least, is cyber security. And this is a professional who protects the systems, the network, and the data from external and internal threats in an organization. All right? So you are responsible for ensuring that the systems, the data, the networks are protected from threats. Recently, you'd hear that different organizations, Flutterwave, was hacked into, they lost billions and billions of dollars, and so many other, organizations out there. So you have people who are there to break into your systems, steal your data, steal funds, steal money, and things like that. So how do you protect systems and networks? You start by your introduction to cybersecurity, foundation of computing and networking. You learn information security principles, offensive and defensive cybersecurity, cryptography, which includes encryption and decryption. All right, you'd learn cybersecurity threats and attack vectors, network security, endpoints, web and application security. Today, most of our applications are web-based. Some of them are mobile-based. So how do you protect those, your bank applications on the mobile, your web applications where you carry out your internet banking and so on? So you learn web and application security using different technologies, cloud security, incident response and forensics, and finally, cybersecurity policies and compliance. And the cybersecurity program is categorized into 3 major career paths, depending on the career path you want to move into. The first career path is GRC, the governance, risk, and compliance. And this is for people who want to work in an organization, helping the organization establish their cybersecurity policies and procedures, and ensures that it aligns with the organization and regulatory requirements. Okay, so you want to implement industry standard frameworks. You want to ensure the organization adheres to the relevant regulations and the laws available, like the GDPR, for example. You want to maintain thorough records of compliance activities within the organization. So that's number 1. Number 2, you have the threat intelligence and incidents response, threat intel and incidents response. Now, these are for professionals that want to ensure that whenever a threat happens, before the threat happens, they will break into the system or try to break into the system themselves and identify the loopholes and the gaps and do what? And come up with solutions to protect that system. So they gather data to identify emerging threats that are possible to do what? Hack into the system, and they protect the systems by identifying the tactics, the techniques, and the procedures that a possible threat would actually take to break into that system. Okay, the incident response aspect is where the threat has happened already. Okay, the system has been broken into. How do we ensure that we are able to develop and maintain an incident response plan, outlining the procedures on how we detect, how we respond, and how we recover from a cyber attack or a cybersecurity related incident? Okay, you also have the forensic unit. So when you see the threat and the threat intel incident response, that's where you find the penetration testers. A lot of you would have heard of pen test, penetration testing, and so on. They fall under the threat intelligence. So before anybody penetrates your system, you would have carried out penetration testing to know where the loopholes are and cover those loopholes. And of course, you have forensics as well, which is where you are doing your root cause analysis, where a cyber attack has already happened, and you're identifying what caused that problem to prevent future occurrence. You're also supporting by coming up with recovery support, assisting to restore the systems and the data integrity after an incident. So forensics is very important. For Flutterwave, who had their system broken into, they want to ensure it doesn't happen again because they've carried out a forensic test to identify the root cause and to also restore their systems, the data integrity, and so on and so forth. So these are the 3 major career paths that the curriculum would focus on: GRC, threat intelligence and incident response, and forensics, cybersecurity forensics. Okay, and how long does it take? 4 months, 3 months in class, and 1 month internship, working on real world projects. And of course, you have your live classes on Saturdays and Sundays. Saturdays, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Sundays, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. Now, once you've done all these things I've said you should do, you've learned all these skills, data analyst, business analyst, cybersecurity professional, agile project manager, scrum master, data engineer. Remember this equation and write it somewhere. T plus E equals the job offer. If you don't have this, you really cannot get a job. Most people only have the technical skill, unfortunately. So when it comes to the use of Excel, they are very good. When it comes to the use of Python, they are very good, but they don't have the employability skills. You need both the technical and employability, and that's where you get the job offer. And that's also where Tenalytics is different from all the players you have out there. We provide you not just with the technical, but also the employability skills. So we work on your CV. We have a CV review session where we show you how to tailor your CV to job applications and ensure that you know where to apply, how to tailor your CV in a way that it does the best against the ATS, the applicant tracking software, or the applicant tracking system. So when you put in your application and a keyword match happens, they look at the keywords on the job requirement and the keywords on your CV, you have a percentage match. And you want to have a percentage match of about 80 to 85%. And this is when you get called for an interview because you are presumed to fit into that role because you matched at a high percentage. But how do you test this? Using different tools like Jobalytics, like JobScan, and even ChatGPT. So we work with you, we show you how to do this so that you get the very best. Gone are the days where you use one application to one CV to 100 applications. You never get any positive out of that. So you use one CV to one application. But how do you tailor that CV very fast so it can apply to as many jobs as possible? And that's what we're going to show you how to do. So your CV review session, you have your LinkedIn optimization, having the right LinkedIn profile, your Upwork optimization, having an Upwork profile so you can work on remote work, different tasks and assignments and projects as a freelancer. And of course, you also have navigating the job market. For a lot of people today, most especially those in the UK, you have so many changes that has happened over the last couple of months. You know, the Home Office implementing so many changes in terms of changing the salary thresholds for you to get a COS. You can no longer bring in a dependent as a student, even as if you're on the health and care visa, you can't also bring in a dependent and so on and so forth. So how do you navigate those challenges and get the opportunities where you have organizations that are willing to sponsor you, even though they haven't indicated that on the job requirements? So how do you identify those companies that can offer you a COS because they've done that last year? Okay, so we show you how to identify those companies. We show you how to apply, where to apply to get the very best results. And this is what has made our participants so successful. You also have the interview prep. So now you've gotten an opportunity. How do you prepare for the interview? You need somebody that has been there before. I can look at a job description and I can tell you categorically the type of questions you're likely going to get as a data analyst, as a data scientist, as a business analyst, and so on and so forth. So you know how to go into that room well prepared to say the right things, all right? And of course, when you eventually get the offer, they would request for a recommendation letter. Remember, I mentioned this earlier, as a Tenalytics participant, you are not a trainee. You are a consultant or a contractor. So you work with Tenalytics. So all the things you're going to do, the projects you're going to work on your LinkedIn, you have data analysts, data analyst consultants, and so on and so forth, because that's the only way recruiters would see that you have the experience to do the things they want you to do. Nobody wants to hire a beginner, a newbie, to learn at their own expense. It will never happen. And that's why so many people keep on applying and they never ever get opportunities. All right. And I'm going to show you a practical example of this. So if you go on LinkedIn and you search for any of the Tenalytics alumni that have gotten jobs, you'll see that they all fall under the same category, what I just talked about, LinkedIn. Okay, you have their profile, they have Tenalytics as what? An employee at Tenalytics. So let's check one very quick. Let's go to, whose profile can we check? Okay, so Oluwadamilare even popped up. So let's go to Oluwadamilare. All right. And Oluwadamilare got a job as a sustainability data analyst. Started his role in April this year, about 2-3 months ago. And immediately you'd see that you both worked at Tenalytics. That's the first thing you'd see. If you scroll down under his job experience, you'd see Tenalytics. Data analyst, Tenalytics contract. Very important. Now, the difference between somebody who has positioned themselves as a learner and Oluwadamilare, who positioned himself as somebody doing the job, is this. Oluwadamilare got this job 4 months ago, worked with BAM as a sustainability data analyst in the UK. And part of the things, the reasons why he got this job was simply because they saw him as somebody that has done this before. He wasn't doing it for the very first time, or he's not joining them to test his hands on doing it. And guess what? All the things you are going to learn are the things you would apply on the job. The people on the job are using those same skills, and you probably even have more skills than them, or you've worked on more projects. So why position yourself as a learner or as a beginner when you have the skills of somebody who has experience? So you never position yourself as a beginner. And if you go through every single person, let's go to Sunday. Sunday also recently got a new job. Sunday at Delucy. He started a new job about last month. Also, you'd see that you both worked at Tenalytics as well. So if you go to Sunday's profile, you'd see what? Data analyst consultant. You never see trainee or you never see learner. When Sunday completed his program with us, he got a job as a regulatory data analyst with United Utilities in the UK. And of course, recently transitioned to another role called the data science specialist, also in the UK as well. And for both roles, we wrote Sunday's reference. We provided a reference for him. This is giving you a practical example on how important it is for you to take referencing, serious, and also you positioning yourself for the job. And what else do you need to do with regards to employability? You need a mentor. We have weekly mentorship sessions every Thursdays. You join the mentorship, you get to hear from me, the co-founder. We bring in recruiters from across the globe, from the UK, from Canada, from Nigeria, from Ghana. We bring recruiters to speak with you, show you what is required, the changes, the new trends, and how you can prepare yourself. You are literally, being handheld to go on this journey, ensuring that you don't make any mistakes, the same mistakes we've made in the past. And of course, if you get a job and you need support on the job, we provide you with on-the-job support. And I talked about projects, and I'm going to walk you through what a portfolio looks like very quickly. When we talk about working on projects and having a portfolio, I'll show you what it looks like, and then we'll go to Q&A. But when you ask, Adeza, what has made all the people you've showcased that you have on your slides that have joined the program and they've gotten jobs, what did they do differently? Why have I been applying and I'm not getting interviews? You see number 1 to number 8 right here. This is the difference. Knowing what to say during interviews, knowing how to answer Simple questions like introduce yourself. During interviews, introduce yourself using the SEAT approach. A lot of people don't know how to answer this question, but it's a question that will definitely get asked in different ways. Can I get to meet you? Can we get to meet you? Can you walk me through your experience? Introduce yourself, all right? Using an approach called the SEAT approach, where you start by talking about your skills, you move to your experience, you talk about your achievements, and then your type of person. Everything has a framework for constructive response. If you don't know the right response or the right framework, you'd ramble and not make any sense at the end of the day. How do you answer competency-based questions? Competency-based questions carries the highest marks during interviews. Competency-based questions, and your competence is your skills and experience. So if I want to test your skills and experience, I would ask you a question where you have to tell me how you used Python, how you selected your machine learning algorithm, how you were able to connect Power BI to a database. What did you do? Did you import your data or did you use direct query? Those questions that would, try to get exactly what you've done in a way that if you haven't done it before, there is no way you get those questions right. You have to know how to answer those type of questions using the STAR technique so that you are constructive and you make sense. S for situation, you talk about the situation, you talk about the task you carried out, you talk about the action you took, and the results you got. And that's the STAR technique. So we sit down with you and walk you through the process, and you get a very good idea. Most of the time, what happens during the interview prep, after we have the first session with you, you have to go back to go and prepare again, look at your projects, look at your material, look at the questions. We'll give you questions that we know would come out, you prepare, and then we have a second session where you'd have polished your answers a lot better. And you go into that interview knowing the right things to say. And remember, you must always showcase your skills with your projects. So 60 seconds, I'm just going to run you through one project very quickly. Okay, I'll run you through this project very quickly. And this is a project, a data analyst who joined our program, Victoria. She joined our data analytics program and built this portfolio. So when we talk about portfolio, this is where you showcase the work you've done. If I ask you, oh, you want to get a job as a data analyst, can you send your portfolio to me? All you need to do is have this link somewhere on your CV, and you can send this to anybody, and they can see the depth of the work you have done and how good you are. So one of the projects Victoria worked on was the Deep Care Hospital ER visit analysis, okay? And anybody who has the link can get to this project. So if I click on this, for example, let me open in a new tab. It takes me to what Victoria has built using Tableau. And it's available for anybody. Anybody can see this online. They can interact with it. And this is an analysis for a hospital by Victoria Uchemadu. Number of patients, the average age, average wait time, and anybody can interact. I can deselect anything here. If I want to see for just the patient's gender, I want to see for only male, instead of male, female, and people that did not disclose. I can deselect all, and I select for only male. And you can see it interacts and it changes. It is dynamic to my interactions. And this is what you need to have. And this is not the only project she has. This is one of the projects. If you scroll down, you'd see the Redux Airline flight analysis, the Express Tech food delivery. And this is where Nestle products analysis using Power BI, Zenith Electronics using SQL. So anybody who looks at the projects you worked on can tell how good you are without even meeting you. And this is what sets you apart. Very, very, important. All right, so let's go back to the slide and let's quickly wrap up. Okay, so like I mentioned earlier, we are going to work with our learning management system. This is the learning management system, what it looks like. I'm going to go to the platform and I'll show you how you interact. So when you join the platform, okay, you have the opportunity to chat in real time with your learners. And I'm going to introduce you to our AI bots, AI chatbot called Oluko. Okay, our AI chatbot is called Oluko. I'm going to introduce you to that. For those who understand Yoruba a little bit, type into the chat, what do you think Oluko means? The name of our chatbot. What is Oluko? Type into the chat if you know what Oluko means. Hey, Jennifer says teacher. Obviously, I'm sure any Nigerian on the call would know what Oluko means. Oluko means teacher. I'm going to introduce you. I'm going to show you Oluko. We're going to look at Oluko together. We'll use it on a real life case study. And you'd see how you also get to leverage a platform like Tenalytics LMS, where you have access to a chatbot like Oluko, which was built on the same GPT, just like a ChatGPT, GPT-4, the most advanced level, and has been trained specifically to answer the type of questions you would likely get to ask it. Questions around interview preparation, questions around applying to jobs, and so on and so forth. And I'm going to walk you through that before we wrap up today. And so many people have been asking, Adeza, what does it take for me to get into one of the programs? What does it take for me to start? What does it take for me to get started? And these are just more success stories. I'm not going to bore you with them, okay? I'm just going to walk through and we move into what it takes for you to join a Tenalytics program. Ramat was a customer representative professional. Today, she works as a business architect. After completing our business analysis program, she works with the NHS, full visa sponsorship. Sonia is a HR analyst with British American Tobacco in the UK. You have Idris Adebisi, joined our data engineering program. He's a data engineer in the UK. He's worked with Jaguar Land Rover. He currently works with another organization called QuantSpark in London, in the UK, and so on and so forth. You have Olubemi, who works in Canada as a solutions analyst after transitioning through our data analytics program. And you have Muhyiddin. Muhyiddin lives in Ibadan, Nigeria, and works for a company in the UK as a business development analyst, right? And these are professionals who have done the things you are also trying to do. Our next cohort starts on the 3rd of August, 2024. The next cohort starts on the 3rd of August, 2024. And what does it take for you to be a part of any of the programs? So for you to join any of the programs, we have an amazing discount. Remember, I said I have an amazing discount. 2 amazing offers to you. One is a discount and the other one is even amazing. And I'll walk you through the second one. But the first discount I have for you is a 20% discount for the first 20 people that will be registering from today's session. So you've been a part of our session today and you're part of the first 20 people to register. You get a 20% discount right off the bat. So for any of the programs you are joining, the business analysis or the data science, the data analytics, data engineering, any of the 8 career paths, instead of paying $750, you're paying in dollars, you only get to pay $600. So you have a discount of $150, and you can also make your payments in 2 installments to get started. The first installment is $400, and this gets you into class, while the second installment is $200, which comes in 1 month after the program has commenced. If you're paying in pounds, you only get to pay £500 instead of $625. So you get a £125 discount, being one of the first 20 people to register and also taking advantage of the discount. And you have a flexible way of making payments in installments to make it easier for anybody to join. So you can make the first installment of $350 to get into class and $150 a month after the program has commenced. And if you're paying in euros, instead of 730 euros, you get to pay just 580, 400 and 180. And if you're paying in Canadian dollars, instead of $1125, you get to pay just 900, 600 gets you into class, and then 300 a month after the program has commenced. And I will walk you through how to make payments very quickly. Now, the benefit of taking advantage of the discount is the program starts on the 3rd of August. So you have about 2 weeks before you get into class, all right? So for those of you who want to secure your slots, you can do that. You can secure your slots by securing your discount. Be one of the first 20. That's where the discount is applicable. Being one of the first 20 people to register. And how do you become one of the first 20 people? For some of you who might say, oh, Adeza, I don't have the $400 to pay to become one of the first 20. The class starts on the 3rd of August, all right? So your $400 can be broken down even further. To secure your slots, you secure the slots, you pay $200, and next week you pay another $200, and this forms the first installment for you to get into class on the 3rd of August. Before the class starts, you must have completed that first payment, and then the second payment comes in a month after. But the most important thing is to be one of the first 20. And I'll show you how to make payments in the next few seconds, and then we go into questions and answer. And the second amazing opportunity for you, because like I said, I have 2 amazing offers. The first one is make sure you're one of the first 20 people, take advantage of the 20% discounts. The second amazing offer is if you become one of the first 20 people, you also get a free 1-month access to Amdari. And Amdari is the platform that helps you build amazing projects. Up to 500 projects you have on Amdari to build projects. So if you're one of the first 20 people to take advantage of the discount and join the program, you also get free access to Amdari for 1 month for free. Okay, and I'm going to show you Amdari, what the Amdari platform looks like, and how you can benefit from being a part of Amdari as well. Amdari is where you build and gain experience. So nobody would ever doubt your skills, because all they need to do is go to your portfolio and see all the projects that you have worked on. Up to 500 projects on Amdari that you can get to work on, and you have free access to Amdari. Okay, before we go to Amdari, and before I take your questions, I'm quickly going to show you the Tenalytics platform very quickly. All right, so let's go to LMS, what the call looks like. Let's also see what the platform looks like. When you join us, how do you learn? What do you have access to? Okay, so let's go to the Tenalytics platform. And all you need to do is go to tenalytics.io, all right? Tenalytics.io, and it takes you to the website. For those that have registered, you have immediate access to your dashboard. So I click on the dashboard, it takes me to the dashboard where you have the program you've paid for. So let's assume you've paid for business analysis. You see the business analysis, you click on start learning, and this is where you join and watch your classes on Sundays. So your classes where you don't have to come to class, on Sundays, all you need to do is come to the LMS and you have access to all your materials right here. If it's the data analytics, I simply click on data analytics, continue learning, and it takes me into the data analytics page, and I can start learning on Sundays, watch the videos on my own and get to practice the things I have on the video. So this is my very first class, for example, week 1, Introduction to Excel. Okay, I want to learn the overview of Excel for data analytics. Click on that and you watch your videos. They are bite-sized videos, short videos that you get to watch, and you get to learn from the best in the industry. Your trainer is Femina, the co-founder of Tenalytics, a decade experience as a business intelligence analyst, business systems analyst, and so on and so forth. So you watch your videos on the platform, you have lifetime access to all the videos. You want to learn cell referencing. On a Sunday, you come here, click on cell referencing, and it takes you to the video on cell referencing. You click on the video and you get to watch what cell referencing is all about. You get to practice and you learn amazing, amazing skills as a data analyst. And this is where you get to learn and watch your videos every Sunday. For some people, what they do is they break the classes on Sunday. They watch some on Sunday, they watch some on Monday. But the most important thing is before you come to class the following Saturday, you've watched the videos you need to watch for that specific period on Sunday and so on. Now, this is for your self-paced class. And let's check Olukor a little bit, our AI chatbot, which was built and trained using the most advanced GPT model and get you the very best results. So for anybody who has registered and is a part of the Tenalytics community, you have access to Olukor. And you can see that Olukor, the Tenalytics AI trainer. Hey buddy, how are you doing today? For a better and personalized experience, please enter your name, okay? So I enter my name is Adeza, and then I click on submit. All right, so you get another response. Hello Adeza, my name is Olukor, which stands for teacher. I'm your personal AI trainer. What exactly do you want to do? Okay, so I want to prepare for an interview. So I click on interview preparation. All right, I click on that and I wait for Olukor to respond. Wow, you are awesome. Congratulations on securing this interview. Please copy and paste everything about the job in the chat below. Okay, so I need to get a job because I have an interview. So Olukor is telling me paste the job, the details of the job requirement. So let's go to a job very quickly. So I go to read.co.uk. Okay, let's go to data scientist very quickly. Okay, data scientist. Let's search and see if we can get any job, copy something around that. So head of data science, applied AI engineer, data scientist. Let's click on this and I'll copy the job requirements. Okay, so let's see the role and responsibility. So one of the things you'd see, this is a job for a data scientist in the UK. The benefit is up to £60,000, skills in SQL and Python and so on. But let's copy. Okay, so I'll copy from the role and responsibilities. And I'll copy up until your skills and experience. And I'll copy this and I'll go back to Olukor. And I'll paste this right here. And send this and let's see what Olukor says. All right. So Olukor helps you. If you write a code and you have an error, you can copy your code, paste it on Olukor, and Olukor will give you the solution, the mistake you've made, and what you should do. So Olukor simply has looked at what I've pasted and is saying what for a role that involves overseeing data collection and integration, utilizing statistical modeling techniques, and so on and so forth. Preparation guide, understand the role and responsibility, okay? So it's telling you what to do. Familiarize yourself with the key tasks such as data collection, brush up on technical skills, all right? Review SQL and Python, focusing on data manipulation, querying and statistical analysis. Revisit market mix modeling. Review past projects. Okay, communication and presentation skills, practice explaining complex technical skills, potential interview questions. So Olukor is even telling me the questions and the possible answers. So technical skill, for example, the question is, can you describe a project where you use SQL and Python to analyze marketing data? What were the challenges and how did you overcome them? I can copy this question, for example, and I can come back to Olùkọ́. Do you need help using the STAR interview technique? Remember, I mentioned the STAR technique: situation, task, action, and results. And Olùkọ́ has been trained to help you come up with the STAR technique. Do you need the STAR technique? Yes, I do. I click on yes, and Olùkọ́ will give me the same. Please type the industry you want me to tailor the answer. Ensure you type the industry and have experience or an industry you're applying to. So I can come in here and say, Olùkọ́, please give me answers. Give me answers using the STAR technique to the following question. And I paste in, okay, I'm not typing my question. I think I provided. Let me send the question right now. So I send the question and paste the question and tell Olùkọ́, give me an answer to this question using the STAR technique. Okay, can you describe a project? So you see Olùkọ́ will give me the what? The answer to the question: situation, task, action, right? And what? Results. That's the STAR technique. So the situation, Olùkọ́ has created a fictitious company for us. Okay, and Olùkọ́ is saying the situation is that you are working in a leading marketing analytics firm and tasked with analyzing a large data set from a recent multi-channel marketing campaign. What was your task? My role was to extract, clean, and analyze the data using SQL and Python. You will notice that the job requires what? SQL and what? Python. So Olùkọ́ has seen the key requirements and is telling you exactly what you should consider. Okay, so your action, what did you do using SQL? What did you do using Python? So you prepare. And this is just your preliminary. You also have us. You schedule your interview when you have an interview. So Olùkọ́ gives you everything you need on the LMS. You have access to this, lifetime access, and you also have your live classes, which is on this platform. So I'm going to go to the class that started in June, and I'll just show you how to learn. How does your live class happen? How do you learn in a live class? So let's go to data analytics for June. Okay, those that started in June, which is pretty recent, you get to join this platform, which is your classroom. So all your live classes are on this particular platform. Every single thing that happens live, you have it on this platform. Okay, so let's expand this a bit so you can see what I'm showing. So request for your reference. You've gotten an offer and you need a reference. All you have to do is come in here to your classroom, send us an email to hr@10analytics.io, and we provide you with a reference. Okay, so you have your job tracker, which is where you track the jobs you're applying to so that you know the number of jobs. And we can also track at the back end and tell you the mistakes you are making. And if you've applied to 15 jobs and no results, we sit down with you and look at what you've done, and we tailor your strategy to what will get you the best results. CV and interview prep. If you have an interview, all you need to do is come in here, click on book an interview, click on any of the links, and it takes you to a Calendly. And from the Calendly, you select the dates and time that is available. You select the dates and somebody would prepare you for that interview. But let's go to a class. They have Power BI today, Power BI class 2. It happened today, Saturday, and you can see this was posted, the material was posted yesterday, but the class material posted at 12:23 p.m. my time. Now let's look at what they've done today in class. So I go to the class material, every single project is what? Every single class is project-based. So when we say project-based learning, you are working on case studies of real life experience. So you're not learning Power BI the way you are used to learning. You learn Power BI by working on projects for a real company. So this company is Stride Style Footwear, a leading manufacturer of footwear offering different trendy quality shoes to men and women. Okay, now Stride Style currently has a problem. They want to, assess their performance to optimize their resource allocation. They want to know the profitability of each retailer. They want to identify the top 5 states with the highest sales and so on and so forth. So you would work together with your trainer in class and do what? Solve this problem. And this is how you gain experience, by solving projects, case study based, real life projects. And if for any reason you miss this class, all you have to do is come to the recording. This is a class that happened today. If I miss the class, I come to the recording, I click on the recording, and I have access to every single thing that happened in class. All I need to do is click on play, and I can see everything that happened. Okay, I can see my trainer, my facilitator, I can ask questions, and we work together solving the problem. So you can see step by step. You are working together in class, you are building solutions to the project, and you have the opportunity in real time to ask questions, get your questions answered, and you get solutions to the problems that you're trying to solve. Okay, and you don't miss anything because you have the recording and everything is always available for you. So this is the class that happened today on Saturday. You have your mentorship sessions, you have your drop-in sessions. Your drop-in session is simply a makeup class. If you miss a class on a Saturday and you've watched the recording and you have more questions, but you want to speak to a human being, which is one of the challenges people face when they're transitioning newly. They are learning on YouTube, and you can't speak to anybody. Oh, I have this problem. How do I solve it? You can't speak to anyone. So here in the drop-in session, somebody would join the live session with you, a real person, your data coach, your trainer, your class coordinator, to help you address any problem you have. The Power BI class 1, which held last week, you have the class recording in case you missed the class. You have the class recording. You can come in here. You can watch the recording at any point in time. Okay, you click on the link, you watch the recording. You have the class material, which is also a case study. So when we say a project-based way of learning, this is a company called Clanson, and you'd also help Clanson solve a problem by working on this case study. And this is how you build experience. All right, I'm going to take a pause right now, and then I'll take your questions, and I'll show you what the Amdari platform looks like. So for those of you that will be part of the first 20, you get free access to Amdari. Free access to Amdari. Okay? Free access to Amdari. So I'll show you what does the Naira equivalent look like. All you need to do is click on the link. It takes you to the Naira equivalent. If you're in Nigeria, you see the Naira equivalent. So you see the currency based on your location. All right? You see the currency based on your location. So it changes, you use the current rates, the market rates that you have, and that's what you see as the equivalent based on the currency of your location. All right, so I'm going to share the slide again one more time, walk you through how to make payments very quickly. So I'll show you, for example, if you come in here, click on the link, the main stack link, or you scan the QR code. My colleagues have pasted the link into the charts. All right, so if I click on this link, for example, it takes me into the main stack page. Okay, so let's go to the main stack page, and this is the enrollment center, the Tenalytics enrollment center. Now I want to register for data science. All I need to do is come down here. Okay, so you can make payments by doing a direct transfer. If you're in Canada, you can pay to our account using Interac. You can do a direct transfer. The email is finance@tenalytics.org. Okay, you can do a direct transfer to our pound accounts, euro accounts, dollar accounts, And if I want to pay with my card, all I need to do is come in here and I click on, I want to pay for full stack data science. I click on full stack data science and it takes me into the full stack data science page. All right. Remember, what you'd see is the discounted fee of £500. If you're paying in pounds, you can see GBP £500. But I want to take advantage today to be one of the first 20 people, take advantage of the discount and also get free access to Amdari. I can make a minimum amount of 250 today. The first installment is 350, second installment is 150, but I don't have 350 today. If I have 350, fantastic. I come in here and I type 350. But I want to secure the discount. I don't have 350 now. I'm going to pay the 350 on Monday, but I can pay 250, which is the minimum you can pay. So once you click on the link, you'll see the minimum amount you can pay to secure your slots. 250, I click on proceed to pay, enter my full name. All right, Adeza Suleiman, enter my email address, enter my phone number, click on pay with card, and enter your card details, and you click on confirm payment. The moment you confirm your payment, you receive an automated receipt into the email you've provided. All right, and that's how you get registered. The email also comes with a registration link. You click on the registration link and you complete the registration to get into the class. And that's how you get to make payments. So it doesn't matter where you are. You're in Ghana, you're in Nigeria, you're in Poland, you're in Germany, you're in the US, you're in Canada. Click on the link and you'll see the respective currency and you can go ahead and make payments. Now, you can also make payments by doing a transfer to any of the direct transfer details you have right here. All right, and I'm going to take questions before we call it a day. So let me take questions. Let's take questions. So you can ask a question by raising your hand. I'll call you up to unmute, or I can take your questions from the chat. But first of all, start going through the chat. Stephen is saying, I'm in the UK, but I want to pay in dollars. Is that okay? Absolutely, you can pay in dollars if you're in the UK, that's fine. But the only issue is when you click on the link, because you're in the UK, you'll see the currency in pounds and not in dollars. Okay, so you'll see it based on your location. But if you can do a transfer to our dollar accounts, that's also fine. Okay, so you do a transfer to the dollar accounts, you will get the dollar payments you've made. Okay. All right, let's see if I have more questions. I have two people with their hands raised, and I'll take their questions. Victoria is saying, with the link I was sent, I was 9. I'm not sure what that means. I did not, because I was told the next class will be August. The price did not go up, Victoria. It's the prevalent exchange rates. The prevalent exchange rates. Okay, so the price didn't go up at all. Well, let's take questions. Let me check questions from Victoria. Okay, so that's Victoria. Victoria, let's hear from you. Victoria, I think your hand was up just a few seconds ago. You can unmute yourself and ask a question.
Okay.
Hi, Victoria.
Good evening. Hi, good evening.
Good evening, Victoria. How are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you for this session. I think you really helped me understand this whole process. But my concern is I got in touch with one of the 10 analytics staffs because I wanted to register. So I had to ask the next, because I was not feeling fine last week, so I couldn't join the last one. So she said, or it said, I don't know who said it's going to be for August. And they never told me there'll be a change in price. Now, I have budgeted for 720 and now I'm saying 900. I don't know how to go about it.
Where are you based, Victoria?
Nigeria.
You're based in Nigeria. All right.
Yeah.
So the price did not change.
cohorts. I was supposed to
Yeah,
go with the last cohort because I was admitted. So when I
yeah,
asked her, it was from the hospital. I asked and said the next will be August.
yeah.
So I never knew whole change was going to happen. And I intend to pay this week to start up my first installment this week. Now I'm saying 900.
Yeah. So of course, we don't control the changes in the foreign exchange market. So for
Yeah.
anybody, you know that it changes from time to time. It goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down. Over the last 2 weeks, the exchange rate has been crazy. All right. So you have 500 pounds, for example. The equivalent of 500 pounds in Naira is over 1 million, because one pound to the Naira is about 2,055 as at today. So if you multiply that by 500, it's over 1 million. It's about 1,011,000. All right. So you'd see the changes happen. We didn't make any change. We didn't change the amounts. It's just the prevailing market rates. Okay. And you can make payments in any currency based on where you are. All right. So, and this is also part of the reasons why we always tell our participants to take advantage of the discounts we have. Yeah, unfortunately, we're not feeling too fine. I'm glad you're feeling a lot better today. But maybe, Victoria, what we're going to do for you is, I don't know, maybe you want to drop a message with one of the customer, one of my colleagues on the call. You have Priscilla, you have, let me see who else is on the call. You have Priscilla, you have Elijah. Okay, maybe you want to drop your email or your details with any of them, and they'll reach out to you and see what we can do for you. All right.
Thank you very much. Yeah. Thanks.
You're welcome. You're welcome, Victoria. Let me take another question from Pavel. Pavel is saying, for those with some foundational skills, can they begin mentorship for job applications as soon as we begin the cohorts while taking classes? The moment you join, your mentorship is every Thursday. For those that started on the 6th of July, their first mentorship was on Thursday, 2 days ago. I took that session. So if I go back to the classroom, and show you the classroom, we had a mentorship session. I took that session on Thursday. So the moment you join, you start attending the mentorship session, and you don't wait until you complete the program for you to start your job application. And this is one mistake people make. Oh, my program is for 4 months or 5 months. I'm going to wait until the end of 5 months before I start applying. No. And that's where you'd see our participants who have gotten jobs 1 month into the program. For example, what's her name now? Toyin, who works as a benefits analyst in the UK, got a job 1 month into the program. Okay, 1 month into the program. And I'm going to show you Toyin's video very quickly. It's a 1-minute video. You listen to Toyin yourself. Well, you see the mentorship session we had for the gentleman that asked is a mentorship session on setting your goals for your career transition. And this is because we had new people who joined on the 6th of August. So you see the title, Set Your Objectives Without Limitation to Achieve Your Tech Career. And this was a session we had on Thursday. I took that session. The class recording is here. For anybody who missed the class, you can always watch the recording, and you'd see me speaking and walking people through my slides on what you need to do. So that's me right there. You can see me. That's Priscilla, the beautiful Priscilla on my slide. Okay, so of course, I took this session. Your mentorship is every Thursday. You have the opportunity to ask questions. You have the opportunity to interact with me every single Thursday. So you don't wait until you are done to apply to jobs. You don't. And that's where people get jobs 1 month, 2 months into the program, because take data analytics, for example. After 1.5 months, you've learned problem solving, you've learned data analytics, you've learned problem solving, you've learned Excel, and you should have been completing your Power BI. Some organizations only need people with those skills. They don't need you to have everything. So you start applying for those jobs that meet your skills at that point in time. Okay, So that's pretty much the way it works. If I go back, I'll see if I can
Hi guys,
find,
my name is Abigail Gaga and I want to talk
sorry,
about
I'll
my
see if I can find Tony right here, and I'll just show you. You listen to Tony for just 1 minute. Tony got a job 1 month into her program with us. 1 month, she got the job. Let me see if I can find Tony very quickly. I remember I still want to show you the Amdari platform. So for those who fall within the first 20, you also get access into Amdari. Yeah, that's Tony right there. So you're going to listen to Tony. She got a job, like I said, a month after joining us. And this shows you that you don't wait until the end of your program to apply. Okay, so let's listen to Tony.
There's nothing more powerful than you making your thing.
Sorry.
Doing business on.
Hello everyone, my name is Toyin and I recently got a job as a benefits analyst in the UK. I've come from a medical background as a pharmacist who is interested in, breaking into tech. My first encounter with analytics was on LinkedIn. I joined one of their masterclass, just one masterclass where Efemina spoke, and it just took that masterclass to convince me. I joined in August, and a month after I got a job. To be honest with you, every information skill that I was able to apply to get that job, I owe it to Tenalytics. Tenalytics did a great job and is still doing a great job. They groom you and nurture you from the cradle till you become confident. So my advice for you, most importantly, is join. Be integrated into a platform that empowers you and allows you to easily get that first job.
Okay, so that's Tony, and Tony has an amazing story. She joined a month after she got a job with the NHS, full visa sponsorship, and today she's a data analyst. She's a benefits analyst with the NHS. Now let's go to Amdari very quickly. Now, why is the Amdari platform phenomenal? We talked about gaining experience by working on projects. So Amdari is a platform that gives you access to what? Real life projects built by industry experts. So I'm a data engineer, or I'm a HR analyst, I'm a financial analyst. I want to work on projects. I can simply come here, go to explore, all right? Go to the industry I want to get a job in, maybe healthcare, human resources, e-commerce, manufacturing. I can check for project based on career track. I go to data science, for example. I want to work on a project on natural language processing. I click on that, okay? So it takes me into different projects. I can work on those projects and I build a profile, okay? I work on projects, complete the project, and I add it to my portfolio. So Amdari gives you the opportunity to have a portfolio integrated on the same platform. You can work on as many projects as you want, and you build a portfolio. And this gives you, all the amazing opportunities that you would ever imagine of getting or imagine to get when you showcase to recruiters that you've done this before. I've worked on a distribution network analysis project as a data analyst. I've worked on energy market resilience metrics where I analyzed the vulnerabilities and preparing for disruptions, okay? You have projects on telecoms. Now, let's take this project, for example. If I click on this, let's go to the one on telecoms. I click on this, it takes me to the project, and I can start working on the project immediately. It's a customer lifetime value segmentation project, okay? You'd see the overview of the project, the rationale for the project, the aim of the project, the data description, the tech stack. So what tech stack am I going to learn? I'm going to learn PostgreSQL. That's the tech stack I'm going to learn on this project. So anybody, and I click on the video, let's start from the video, you click on that, and you start from the introduction into this project. Okay, they are all industry based, case studies.
Welcome
that
to
you add your
Nexusat.
portfolio. So you get access to this for free. If you are one of the first 20 people to also register for any of the programs. All right, so you're getting the best of both worlds. But let's take more questions because I know you have more questions before we call it a day. Let me see questions in the chat. Aside from free Amdari, how do we get access to Amdari? Amdari is going to be closed for free access at the end of the month. Currently, it's free. Anybody can get access to Amdari currently. By the end of July, it's closed completely. Only open to those who have made payments. So it's a subscription-based model. You pay and you have access. But anybody part of the Tenalytics community that falls within the first 20 people to register from this session gets free access to Amdari for a month, even after Amdari is no longer free. Okay, so let me take more questions. Company email, finance@tenalytics.org. That's the company email. Most of these software, Power BI, I do not have them. So when you make payments to join, you get something we call the welcome kit. The welcome kit has the video guides, all the links for you to download and install the applications that you need. Okay, so once you've made payments, you're a part of the program. You have your onboarding materials, includes the welcome kit. So if you go to the welcome kit, you have access to all the tools, how to download and install Microsoft Office for your Excel, how to download and install Power BI. First of all, this is what a welcome kit would look like. You get a welcome message from us, the Tenalytics team, myself, Ifemena, and then you have a quick guide on how to navigate your classroom. Okay, you have your class timeline, and you have your timetable, which is your lesson plan essentially. So Saturdays, Sundays, what are you going to learn, and so on and so forth. When am I going to take a break during the program? You have everything right there. Okay, and if you come down to this page, how to install Microsoft Office, how to download and install Tableau. If you click on this, it takes you to one of our videos where we will show you how to download and install Tableau. So every single thing you need, you have it here. Okay, so you can see this video created by us, walking you through how to download and install Tableau. So every single thing you need for your class, you have that in your welcome kit. You receive the welcome kit after making payments to be a part of the program. Okay, now one last thing before I take my next question. When you've made your payments, for those of you that will be doing a transfer, or for those of you that are not sure if you should do data analytics or data science or data engineering or business analysis, you're a bit confused, okay? This is what you need to do. Once you've made payments to secure your slots, we're going to have a clarity session, a coffee break on Tuesday, where you get to have a one-on-one. So it's not a large class like today. So it's more like 10 people, 5 people in a class, and you have a one-on-one with me. Now, for you to get access to that one-on-one, this is what you need to do after making payments, all right? Click on upload your receipts. So once you've made payments using your credit or debit card, so you paid with your card, you'd receive the link to this form I'm going to show you now. But if you're making payments doing a direct transfer, you need to come back to the platform and click on upload your receipts, okay? Because doing a direct transfer is not automatic. Paying with your card is automated. So once you pay with your card, you receive an email. The email would have a link. You click on that link and it brings you here, okay? If you've done a direct transfer, maybe Interact, you've paid to the pound account or dollar account, take a screenshot of your payment as proof of payment and come back to the enrollment center and click on upload your receipt. And it brings you to this same form. So you fill all your details. You enter your email. Let me enter mine, adaiza@tenalytics.io. Okay, enter your email, click on next. So you're literally filling the form. Type of payment, I made full payments, or I made initial payment, first installment. Click on next. Okay. I want to show you how to have that one-on-one. If you're not sure what to select, and you want to have the one-on-one with me, with the co-founder, and so on and so forth. Okay, so yes, I'm going to receive my welcome case. Click on next. You're eligible for the 20% discount. Click on next. Enter your first name. So I enter my name, enter your surname. I enter my surname. Enter your Gmail. I enter my Gmail account, Adeza Suleiman. Okay. Gender, you enter your gender, male, female. Click on next. Okay. So you're literally just filling the form. You read the terms and conditions. I have read the terms and conditions attached, and I agree. Click on yes. Okay. If you have any questions you can reach out to us via email, enquiries@10analytics.io, or by phone to Shei, Lydia, or Imwa, or you can reach out to us on WhatsApp, sending a WhatsApp message. Click on next. Okay, when did you make payment? I made payment today, so I select today, the 13th. Upload a screenshot. So I'll upload a screenshot. I'm just going to upload a dummy. So you would have made payment, right? You'd have taken a screenshot and you upload your payment. Let me just upload any payments right here. Okay, so I just upload any payments. Okay. So what's your mode of payment? I paid doing Interac. I did a direct transfer through Interac, or I transferred to the pound account or dollar or USD or Canadian dollars, whatever the case is. But let's say Interac, okay? Click on next. Name on the account. So why do we ask for the name on the account? Sometimes brothers pay for sisters, uncles pay for their nephews or nieces. So we want to know the name on the account that made payments on your behalf. Or if it's your name that is on the same account, just type in your name. Okay, so I'll type in my name, Adeza Suleiman, click on next. Which program are you interested in? So this is where, if you are sure of what you want to join data analytics. It's always been your dream to become a data analyst. You select data analytics. If it's business analysis, you select business analysis. But you want to ask more questions because you're not sure. All you need to do is come here and select, I need to speak with a professional. The moment you select, I need to speak with a professional, and you complete and submit the form, we schedule you for that clarity session with me, with Efemena, the co-founder, and other industry experts that will help you make a decision, okay? Click on next. Again, for some of you, just like the lady that mentioned the other time, she wanted to join last month, but she couldn't because she wasn't feeling fine. Now, the best thing you would have done is to take advantage of the discounts available, because you never know what happens. Exchange rate fluctuates. Discount is 20% we have currently. Next month, the discount can be off and you have to make the full payment. So you take advantage of the discounts. If you want to start maybe in September, you don't want to join August because you have commitments in August. You want to start in September. You can take advantage of the discount today and defer your program to September. So when September comes and the discount is no longer there, you're not worried about paying the full amount, okay? So all you need to do is when you come to this place, which cohort do you intend to start? You can start on the 3rd of August, which is the next cohort starting in August, or you can start in September, 7th of September, or 5th of October. So you're getting the fee of today, the discounted fee, but you're starting in the future. So when other people are paying the full amount, you have access to the discounted amount because you've secured your slots already. Okay, so let's take, for example, I want to start on the 3rd of August, or I want to start in September. I click on September. I fill all the other details. My country of residence, I select Canada. How did you hear about us? I heard about you on LinkedIn. Okay, you submit the form and we get all your details. Okay, so just needed to show you this for those of you who would like to start in September, but you want to secure your discounts right now. Please take advantage of the discounts so that you don't have issues when the discount is no longer available. Okay, let's see. If I'm not ready to start, I think I just answered that question. So Rachel, all you need to do is secure your slots, make a deposit to secure that slot, secure the discount, and you can, when filling the form, you defer to start in September. So you select 7th of September, okay? Or if you want to start in October, we have another cohort that will start on 5th of October. All right, so let me take more questions. Okay, so Ademola sent a very long question. So these are the type of questions we answer during the clarity session, Ademola. Hello, Adeza. The class is really inspiring. I'm a 28-year-old Nigerian, used to be an AC technician, but due to an accident, I can't continue. Also, sorry about that, Ademola. I have a national diploma in banking and finance. I don't have any technical background. The question is, do I have a chance at getting a job if I enroll? I definitely know it's based on my efforts and so on. See, Ademola, what I always advise people is this. The most difficult part is to start. We've had different types of people. Somebody who was a baker, she worked in a bakery, no experience. She moved to the UK, wanted to get a job. She wondered how she could ever get a job as a baker. And all we needed to do, she joined our business analysis program. And we converted her experience to business analysis as a baker. So as a baker, you interact with customers, right? Before you build a cake or you bake a cake for a customer, you would ask questions. What type of cake? What size of cake? How many layers? All right? What is it, the fondant? I'm not really sure what the cakes are, but you ask your customer questions. That's simply elicitation. You are asking questions to gather requirements. That's requirements gathering. So you can build the right type of cake for the customer. Okay? You interact with different suppliers, people that supply your flour, they supply your butter, and so on. You interact with them, your different vendors. That's stakeholder management. They are your stakeholders. Okay? So we converted her experience into what? From being a baker to being a business analyst. And today she's a business analyst in the UK. So it doesn't matter, what you've done in the past. And that's why today's session is transitioning from a non-tech background into the tech ecosystem. 90% of the people you'd find in the tech ecosystem today as data analysts, business analysts, had nothing to do with business analysis, data analytics, cybersecurity, and so on and so forth. I use myself as an example. I did industrial chemistry. I've never worked a second as an industrial chemist. Okay, so it doesn't matter. You have a national diploma, that's enough. Okay, most of the time in the tech ecosystem, the area is competency-based. It is heavily skill-based. It's based on the skills that you have. Okay, and one other phrase I want you to have today at the back of your mind, and please write this down. Let me share my screen so I can write this on my screen. I tell people this, and it's very important. It's a mistake people make as well. Write this phrase and never forget it. When you want to get a job, or if you ever want to get a job in the tech ecosystem, don't forget this. Competence over credentials. Competence over credentials. Your credentials mean nothing. The masters you think you have in data science, the degree you think you have, the certifications you've written here and there, they mean nothing in the tech ecosystem. Your competence is what recruiters want. And I always ask people this. Imagine you want to hire 2 people to construct a sofa for you. So you are furnishing your new house. You want people to furnish, to build a sofa. And you have two people that you are looking at. One of them has a showroom. The showroom has the different types of sofa he has built, different colors, different sizes, different styles in his showroom. You have another person who has certificates to show that I have gone to a school where they have taught me how to build sofas. One of them has a showroom of the type of sofas he's built, the type of colors, different shapes, different sizes. The other one has a paper to show that I've been to a school where they've taught me how to build a sofa. Which of the two would you hire? Just type into the chat. One is the person that has a showroom. Two is the person that has a certificate to show. Which of the two would you hire? Definitely the one with the showroom. That's Ademola. So select one or select two. Showroom, absolutely. And that's exactly the same thing. So why do people imagine that having a paper in the tech ecosystem gets them a job? It doesn't. It doesn't in any way. You'll be tested. You'll be given case studies. You make presentations to assess your competence. And your competence is a combination of two things: your skills and your experience. Your skills is how good you are, what you've learned in class, what you've been able to gain in terms of the use of different tools and so on. And your experience, you get that by working on what? On projects. Okay, so Ademola, you are in a very good position to get started, build the skills, build experience, and that's where you want to be. Let me take a question from Harry. Harry, please go ahead. I think you've been unmuted for a while now. Let's hear from you, Harry.
Thank you very much, Suleiman, so far. My question is that I've noticed that on the checklist, that is for the course list, it's only Scrum Master that is written there. I didn't see Scrum Master and Agile Project Manager. That's one. And then
sorry, do you mean on the payment page, the enrollment center?
Yes, I'm on the page.
Okay, I just want to be sure exactly what you're talking about. Do you mean the payment page?
The one that is
displayed
here, the one that is displayed here, the one you're using to make your explanations. The number one is business analysis.
Number 2 is Scrum Master. Yeah, so like I said, last month, at this same time last month, it was just the Scrum Master program, okay? So for the month of August, the cohort starting in August is no longer just Scrum Master. We are adding the Agile Project Manager, okay? So yeah, this part of the slide was not just updated. So it's the Agile Project Manager, Scrum Master program, just like I explained earlier. Do you have more questions for me?
Okay, yes. The second question is, how are you there?
Go ahead, please. I can hear you.
Okay. So the second question is, does the Scrum Master and the Agile Project Manager, do they also have a portfolio? Does one have to create portfolio to them, just like for business analysis and then data analysis and the rest of them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. You need to create a portfolio as well. So you're going to work on projects. For example, the project where you are building a web application, you need to document the project from start till finish. Okay, you're going to build wireframes, you're going to build process maps, you're going to have Jira, you have your Jira boards that shows what you have been able to do, how you tracked the project. So you document the project and you have something like, I think I have something like that on my slide and I'll show you. So you have something that looks like a document containing all the different projects you worked on. Let me see. Yes, I think I have a business analyst portfolio right here. So if you go to this portfolio, of course, I've also kept the links for you. So you have access to this when you receive my slides later today or first thing tomorrow. So this is a business analyst portfolio. Okay, welcome to my business analyst portfolio where data meets insights and innovation. Now, there's a capstone project you're going to complete for Unilever. It's a canteen ordering system for Unilever, right? So it's not like your data analytics project whereby you're going to build a dashboard and so on. But if you go to explore the Unilever project, you'd see what they have done. For example, this particular group called the Team SDLC, they worked on this project documenting what they have done. So it's a capstone project they completed at Analytics. And you have the background of the company and so on. You have the problem statements with the current state. You have the objectives of the new system. Why are we, suggesting a new system? And then you have your business case. Because for you to start the project, you need a business case. You need to make a case. Why do we need to go this route? Okay, so you can see the snapshot of the business case. You have the stakeholders. You have the stakeholder analysis. You have your RACI matrix. You have your SWOT analysis. The features in terms of the function, the requirements, your front end, your back end features. You can see the process map. Okay, the as-is process map, which is the current process map. You have the to-be process map, which is the future process map. You have your sprints, your sprint 1, to implement your user stories and so on and so forth. So this is documenting the process. So anybody who looks at this knows you have the skills and the experience to get the job done. So these are the type of things you're going to have in your portfolio, Harry, if that answers your question, if that makes sense.
All right, thank you very much.
You're welcome. Okay, so I think I'll take just one more question because we are out of time, and then we'll call it a day. Faith, I've asked you to unmute yourself. Please go ahead, Faith, and let's hear from you. Hi, Faith.
Hi, good evening. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Go ahead, please.
Okay, thank you for all the training. It's really educating. I have this question with regards to the payment.
Yes.
I know when initially you were talking about the discount and the payment, you did mention that there might be some people that may not be able to do even the 2 installment, and they might want to pay 3 installments. So I wanted to find out, but I noticed you mentioned that because you were using the dollar, and I'm not in the US, so I'm looking at the pounds, but I'm not sure if it's the pounds, how much that would be. Also, you said, if I did hear you clearly, you said the first payment, when you mentioned the dollar, you said 200, and then they will make the second payment another 200, I think you said.
Yeah.
But then you said it will be the following week. So my question is it possible, instead of paying the following week, is it possible to extend the time the second payment is being paid? Because for somebody that doesn't have enough money to pay, just 1 week apart, I think might not be visible for some people. So I was going to ask if it's possible the installment to be, how do I say it, set apart, a bit apart from, the time you're making the first and the second payment, if 2-3 weeks is possible. I wanted to ask, that's my first question. And also, I would like to know in pounds, how much the first and second installment will be before the third one. And then also I wanted to ask about the one-to-one. From what you said, I think the one-to-one is more like, for me, I wouldn't say it's really one-to-one, if you understand what I'm saying. It's more like you have more than one people that you'll be mentoring or having the one-to-one with. But I wanted to ask, is it possible to have, or do you have the proper one-to-one when it's just one-on-one with the mentor or with the tutor?
Yeah.
So those Those are the two major questions I have, to be honest.
All right, so let's start with your last question, and the answer is yes. So what we do is this: we know that there are some very sensitive, topics or sensitive areas that you might not want to mention in public. So when we bring you like maybe 5 people in a group or 10 in a group, and you have some sensitive things you don't want to speak about, in public, you just want it to be between the both of us, we have a separate session for you. All right. So when you're filling the form, when you're filling the form and you select, I need to speak with a professional, and we invite you for that session, you can then mention that, oh, I have some sensitive, you're going to get an email from us. Okay. You get the link for you to click on. It's a Calendly link. You click on the link and then you choose the time that suits you. We have 2 timings, one favorable for those in the UK, Nigeria, and so on, and another time favorable for those in the US or in Canada. So once you select your preferred timing, you have a section for your notes. So in the notes section, you can, write it there that, oh, I have some sensitive things I would like to talk about, and I'll need to create a separate, session for you. We have from now till the 3rd of August before the program commences. So you can have that session anytime between now and that time. So we help you demystify some, things that might be a little bit, hazy for you at this particular point in time. Okay, so that's one way we get it done. Another way is you join the group and you've asked the questions you can ask in public, and the ones you can't ask, you just simply let me know. So if I'm the one in your group at that particular point in time, or is a Femena, I would like to have further conversations with you. There are specific things I would like to discuss with you, personally. And then we'll schedule that session with you and we make that happen. So we have the one-on-one sessions based on the sensitivity of what to talk about. Some people have, visa issues. They want to talk about that. How can I walk through this particular problem, and so on and so forth. Okay. Now going back to your first question, the class starts in 2 weeks, if I'm correct, in about 2 weekends or thereabouts. Let me just confirm that from my calendar very quickly. And your payment is as flexible as you want it to be. Okay, so 3 Saturdays from now. So what you can also do, Faith, is you want to secure your discounts and you're paying in pounds, and the class starts on the 3rd of August. And this week, what I can pay is £100 to lock in my discounts. I'm going to pay the £100 to lock in my discounts. It doesn't have to be next week. The next time you might have the full payments to secure that first, you need to pay £350 to start. That's the important part. So today I'm going to lock in my scholarship. I'm going to lock in my discounts and also have the free access to Amdari by paying £100. And between now and the end of July, I'm going to pay the balance of the £250. So how you decide to pay the £250, or I want to pay £100 next week or the week after, that's totally up to you. So when the class is starting on the 3rd of August, we ensure that you would have completed this first installment of £350. So you can pay based on your preference. But before the class starts, you must complete the £350 a week before the class starts, preferably. So because you need the welcome kits to install all your applications and all the tools that you need. Okay, so you can pay today, you can pay tomorrow, you can pay today, you can pay next week or 2 weeks after, as long as you complete the £350 that gets you started. All right, the balance of 150 comes in a month after. So you're going to start on the 3rd of August. Okay, so you've paid the £350 to start on the 3rd of August. The balance payment comes in on the 31st. Okay, which is the last day of the month. So it's literally about 4 weeks after you started, you make the balance payment of 150. I don't know if that answers your question, Faith, or you have more questions for me.
Yeah, it does. It does answer it.
Okay, all right. So the only difference is if you're going to pay with your card, the minimum you can pay is £250. You can't pay lesser than that with your card. So what you want to do is to do a direct transfer. If you want to pay anything less than 250. So you want to pay 200, you want to pay 150 to secure your slots. You pay doing a direct transfer, and you can always top up after that with your card and so on and so forth. Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Sorry, can I quickly ask this question? Because
Yes.
I know there was a lady that was talking about like she thought there was an increase in the price, and you explained that it was because of the what's it called? Exchange rate. I
Yes.
just wanted to find out
Yeah.
if, because I'm thinking of August, but I'm not 100% sure. I'm also looking if I can do August, maybe September. But I did,
Yeah.
I remember that you did say to her that she could have done was lock in the discount to
Yeah.
make like the payment. So if it's not possible for me to do August and I'm thinking of September, so it's okay for me to just make the first installment today
Yeah.
to lock in
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
discount, and then I don't know, maybe I'll have to reach out to one of your customer service or your colleagues to tell them, okay, I can't do August, and then let them know
Yeah.
I'll be doing September. Is that what I should do?
Yeah, absolutely. So you don't actually need to reach out to anyone, okay? And like I said, so that you don't run the risk of coming in September. You want to start in September, you join a session like this, and then you realize that, oh, the discount is no longer there. I now have to pay £625 instead of 500. So you lock in the discount. And once you've locked in the discount today, for example, when filling the form, this particular form, you're going to fill the form because if you pay with your card, you'll get the link to this form in your email automatically. But if you've done a direct transfer to our bank account, what you need to do is take a screenshot. You come back to this platform, the Tenalytics Enrollment Center, and you click on upload your receipts. When you click on upload your receipts, you are filling the same form, and you see the section that says, when do you want to start? All you need to do is select when you want to start. So you can either start in August or September or October. So if you select September, for example, we get the details and we organize that for you. We defer you to start in September, or you've made this payment, you've secured your discount. So if anything even happens, the discount is off. There's a rate change or anything, like it doesn't affect you because you've already locked in this particular amount and you don't have any issues. Okay, so all you need to do is to select when you want to start from here. All right, so that's all you need to do, Faith.
Okay, so sorry, I said that was my last question, but
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I just remembered a question I wanted to ask. So after, for example, for people, because the time you were saying we should drop in the chat what particular course we're interested in, I did put two. So for instance, if I join and I start with the first one and I finished, I finish and I feel like, okay, I want to go for another totally different course. Is there anything like because I've taken a course with you already, do you have some sort of like further discount?
Yes.
Like a more discount for okay.
Yes, we have an alumni discount, okay, because we have people who come back all the time. Somebody got a job as a data analyst working in the UK. In that same company, he realized that, oh, there's an opening that has a slightly higher salary, but it's for a cybersecurity analyst role. Tenalytics also does cybersecurity. They helped me get this job as a data analyst. So let me go back to them. So he came back. He's currently doing our cybersecurity program, and you get an alumni discount of 5%. Okay, sometimes it could be more, but usually it's 5% for the discount. The minimum is 5% extra. In addition to the discount we have at that time, if we have any discounts running, we also give you additional 5%. So currently we have 20%. So you won't get 20, you get 25% discount. But there's always something extra for any Tenalytics alumni that comes back.
Okay. What about referral scheme?
There's a referral too. So you're going to get all the details. All right. At the end of the session, the details, you'd have that. If you filled the attendance form, all these things I'm saying, I've been explaining, you're going to get the slides, you get the recording, you get all the details. So there's a referral bonus, or there's a referral scheme depending on the currency the person pays in. So you have a friend, for example, you have a brother, you have a sister, you want to register, you refer the person, okay? If the person pays in pounds, you get a 20%, a 20 pounds, 20 or 30 pounds now, discount, okay? If it's in dollars, you get a $30 discount. If the person pays in Canadian, you get a 30 Canadian dollar discount. Or if it's in euros, you get a 30 euro discount, okay? So, but there's a discount available if you are referring somebody to join the program. All those details will be shared at the end of today's session.
Okay. Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure, Faith. And I think we're going to end the questions from Faith's question. I can see I have so many other people who have questions. So what I advise you to do is fill the form, the attendance form, so you get all the details. And we're also going to upload this to our YouTube page. So follow us on YouTube. Okay, let me just show you that. And you also have access to all the content over the last 4 years. You have access to all the content. So if you go to YouTube, just search for Tenalytics. Okay, type into your chart, type into the search bar and type Tenalytics. Okay, it shows you Tenalytics. Ensure you subscribe. And you have access to all the content we've generated, we've curated over the last 4 years. You can even learn things for free on this platform. Python for newbies. If you want to learn Python as a beginner, if you click on videos, for example, you'd see all the videos, all the sessions I've held over the last few years, last few months, last few weeks, and so on and so forth. You want to also see people that have joined Tenalytics, people like you. You want to get inspired by their story, okay? If you click on playlists, it takes you to, you go to testimonials, okay? So you have about 113 videos of people who have joined the Tenalytics program and they're sharing their experience. So you saw Abigail, you saw Oluwatoyin, who works with the NHS. You want to also get to see other people who have joined Tenalytics and they are doing fantastically well for themselves. This is Miriam, for example. Miriam is saying Tenalytics holds you in the hand like a child, guiding you through the process. So you listen to all these professionals and you get to see, you learn from their journey, what they've done right. You get to listen to somebody like Stephen. This is Stephen, who got a job, recommended 2 other people to also get jobs in Glasgow, Scotland. All right, you'd have so many amazing professionals. Oluwadamilare that got a job as a sustainability specialist. You listen to them and you get to hear their experience. Follow us on LinkedIn, follow us on Instagram, follow us on X and all the platforms. You get to hear from me. I'm going to have Instagram live sessions. And being a part of Tenalytics is a community where you get everything you want in terms of getting started in the tech ecosystem to getting a job. And it doesn't matter, even if you're an alumni, you've completed the program, you're an alumnus, and you want to keep on joining our mentorship session, you have that open to you. At your own convenience, you can join us anytime. You have an interview, you've completed your program 5 months ago, you've gotten a job, you're moving to the second job. We are always there for you to help guide you in the industry. I saw a question, I'm just going to address that question and then I call it a day. Somebody said, I don't have UK experience. And this is one of the misconceptions a lot of people have. Oh, you need Canadian work experience. Oh, you need UK experience. You need this, you need that. I got my very first job while I was in Nigeria, working for a company in the UK. You have so many professionals, and I'm sure you've seen 1 or 2 people. that get jobs the same month they landed in Canada, they got a job. Some of them got a job outside Canada. They moved to Canada and they picked up those jobs and started doing those jobs. There is nothing like UK work experience. Excel in Nigeria, Power BI in Nigeria is Power BI in the UK, in the US, in France, in Germany, anywhere across the globe. Now, a lot of people would go into interviews and they really would mess up. They don't answer questions the way the questions should be answered, and they fail. And they attribute it to what? I don't have UK work experience, but that's not the case. I'll tell you for a fact, my very first job in the UK when I moved to the UK, I got that job in about 2 months after I moved to the UK. I had 0 UK experience. So when you hear people talk about UK experience, Canada work experience, US work, there is nothing like that. The closest thing you have to Canada work experience is where they expect you to embody their culture. So you get into the room, for example, in somewhere like the UK where they expect you to be confident in yourself. So you don't want to start the interview by just, sitting down, going straight to the point and so on. No, you want to start with small talk. Oh, the weather is a bit sunny today. What do you think about the weather? And you start to talk. And from there, you warm up to each other and then you commence the interview. It shows confidence. And these are the type of cultural practices they want you to embody. Same in Canada as well. So it's not about, you need a specific type of experience for you to get a job. If you don't have Canadian work experience, you can't get a job. That's nonsense. I'll tell you for a fact. Okay. So these are misconceptions that a lot of people have and it's holding them back, but there is nothing like that. Guys, I'd love to see you start. I'd love to see you get into the program. Take advantage of the discounts. We're going to call it a day right now. You have a brother, you have a sister, you have a friend, you have a colleague that you think can benefit from the program. Share the message with them so that they can also get started. I would love to see you in the clarity session. For those of you that would want to sit with me, ask more questions, take advantage of the discount so that the first 20 slots are not gone before we get to engage and you realize that, oh, I've gotten answers to my question, but now there is no discount for me again. So take advantage and I would love to see you join the program. Enjoy the rest of the weekend. Have an amazing time. And thanks for being a part of our Saturday. We deeply appreciate that. Take care, everybody, and cheers.